Nazis vanished without a tale of their defeat in 45. They all came out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died. They say the prisoner of Spandau was a symbol of defeat. Whilst Hess remained in prison, then the fascists they would beat. So the promise of an Aryan world would never materialize. So why did they all come out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died? The world is riddled with maggots. The maggots are getting fat. They're making a tasty meal of all the bosses and bureaucrats. They're taking over the boardrooms and they're fat and full of pride. And they all came out of the woodwork on the day the Nazi died. So if you meet with these historians, I'll tell you what to say. Tell them that the Nazis never really went away. They're out there burning houses down and peddling racist lies. And we'll never rest again until every Nazi dies.
Woke up one morning and there were soldiers. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Woke up one morning and there were soldiers. The invasion had begun. Lend me your shoulder, we'll stand together. Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Lend me your shoulder, we'll stand together. But I feel my time has come, and if I die here for the resistance, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. And if I die here for the resistance, you must lay me in my grave among the flowers upon the mountain. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Among the flowers upon the mountain, let me rest among the brave. Someday the people will pick the flowers. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Someday the people will pick the flowers, and they will remember my name. This is the flower of the resistance. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty. This is the flower of the resistance. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. This is the flower of the resistance, and those who died for liberty. This is the flower of our resistance, and those who died for liberty.
From all of you good workers, good news to you I'll tell of how the good old Union has come in here to dwell.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
My daddy was a miner and I'm a miner's son, and I'll stick with the Union till every battle's won.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
They say in Harlan County there are no neutrals there. You'll either be a Union man or a thug for J.H. Blair.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Oh, workers, can you stand it? Oh, tell me how you can. Will you be a lousy scab or will you be a man?
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Don't scab for the bosses, don't listen to their lies. Us poor folks haven't got a chance unless we organize.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Street where the lion runs do beat, and the lovely English people walked all over us. And every single night when they tell come home tight, he'd invite the neighbours out with this chorus. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like Galloway from the green and lovely lace of Gilshandra. Tell us how you slew them old Arabs 2 by 2. Like the Zulus, they had nice bows and arrows. Of how brave you faced one with your 16-pounder gun, and you frightened all the natives to the marrow. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like Galloway from the green and lovely lakes of Gilshandra. Let us hear you tell how you stand the brave Parnell and taught him well and truly persecuted. Where are the stares and jeers that you proudly let us hear when our heroes of 16 were executed? Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like Galloway from the green and lovely lakes of Gilshandra. Come out and fight without your guns. Show your wife how you won medals up in Derry. You murdered 16 men and you'll do the same again. So get out of here and take your bloody army. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like Galloway from the green and lovely lakes of Gilshandra. Oh, come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like Galloway from the green and lovely lakes of Gilshandra.
Buckingham Palace announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
Do that again. I didn't understand it that time. Take it easy. Yes, Mr. Hitler. Hitler started out in 1932. Hitler started out in 1932. When he started out, he took the home front. none but you. We're gonna tear Italy down.
Chat. You might be thinking to yourself, why are you doing it like this, Kev? Why have you started the show in this fashion? Where you don't have the lights on behind you, you're very close to the fucking thing, and you're sort of crouched over, as if you're preparing to move to a different location within the room very shortly. Well, that would be because I am going to do that in a second. Chat. Hello. I wanted to show you something that means a lot to me. Something that's I find very comforting in many respects. Something very personal to me, and it's fucking massive. Honestly, the girth on this thing, it's impressive. And you know what they say, if you've got it, flaunt it, yeah? Yeah? 1 second. The Zora Mamdani flag arrived, and it's fucking immense. It's so fucking big. It's fucking enormous. Literally, chat, I am 6 feet and 1 inch of height, and I have a long wingspan, and it doesn't fit. It's fucking massive. What am I going to do with this? It's going to take up the entirety of the fucking wall. It says Zoran for New York, I think. Although the writing's so big it's impossible to read. Anyway, your money paid for that. Money well spent. Money well spent, I say. Oh, it's fucking massive. I didn't check the details on it. It's got to be about 8 feet wide. Wear it. I mean, I literally could. If I could wear it, would be a full dress poncho. I could actually make a dress out of this. Oh, fucking kill me, man. Jesus. Anyway, let's put the lights on. Boom. There we go. Ah. Kev, are you Mary? Quite contrary. How is everyone? I thought I'd start with that. I don't know how I'm going to put it up on the wall. I think I might need some industrial adhesive. It's actually not very... Look, it's quite thin material, so it should be okay, but... I have no idea the fuck I'm going to stick it to the wall. What in the holy fuck is this image? Hang on a minute. Oh, for fuck's sake. Too big. A common theme tonight. Just like my gut and my dick. Boom. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? Is that a suggestion for the opener for the happy hour? The happy hour version of the thing you just watched a second ago. Blue tack, yeah, blue tack might work, but that means I'm gonna have to go to the shop and buy some fucking blue tack. And I can't be dealing with it. Where would even fucking sell blue tack in 2025? Now I'll probably just get some off Amazon because capitalism has destroyed everything, including local shops. Oh. Anyway, how are we getting on? Are we well? Did we enjoy the flag? The flag sitch. Something went wrong. What went wrong?
I can do a good Kermit I can do a good Kermit impression, that's true. Miss Piggy, the Marxists are taking over America.
That's ridiculous. That's so fucking good. That's just Jordan Peterson. That's mental. Okay, I might have to have that clipped onto the soundboard, I think. If someone can post that in the Discord. That's fucking righteous. Anyway. In case anyone is wondering what that image is, that is me morphed into the face of the... I don't even know if it still is, but the old mascot of the Madrid metro system. It was a thing. It was a meme for like 5 seconds on this channel about 3 fucking years ago. Anyway. In one show, one of the side tangents me and Krista did was about fucking what do you call it? Mascots, little weird ass mascots. I think we were talking about the London 2012 shitty mascots, and then because it was probably about the time that Japan was hosting the Olympics, right? Which is why it came up in conversation. Anyway, we're doing award-winning journalism. Flags aside. Although, does that mean I'm a flag shagger now? Because, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I've fucked some big girls in the past, but that one's that's too big. I'll be honest with you. That might be a 2-man job. Why didn't I think of that joke before the start? That would have been a better opener. Does anyone want to help me double team this flag so we can both be flag shaggers? It would have been immense. You fucking dildo. What is this? Why am I getting notifications? Oh, the Jack Meller! Doing his shit. Love it. Good for him. Anyway, yes. Howdy. Why are noises not happening? Thank you, Carl Brown, for gifting a membership. I don't know why he didn't... The noise alerts are on, so I don't know why it didn't make noise. And thank you, Mad Cat Scotty for 2 years. 2 years! Amazing shit. But I don't know why it didn't make noise.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Hody, hody, hody.
How are we?
I'm very well, Jordan. I was sent the clip of you being Jordan Peterson, and it's very, very good.
Which one? The one from the other stream the other day, or the one from...
The one where you're going about Miss Piggy or some shit, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's literally... Because I was sort of checking the OBS to see if everything was fine or whatever. And so I didn't see the visual of it initially, and I thought, is this actually Jordan Peterson? What the fuck? Yeah.
Excellent, excellent.
Indeed. Okie doke. So, do we have any bants before we get into award-winning journalism?
I don't think I do have any bants, really. I mean, everyone seems to be saving all of their content for the budget later on.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. The only thing we should mention is the cricket, really.
Oh, that was a fucking embarrassment, wasn't it?
That was terrible. I mean, don't even get me started. But you know what the greatest stat ever is?
What?
Supposedly, and I don't know how true this is, but it's the first time ever that an entire Ashes Test match has happened, in which case an English-born bowler didn't take a single wicket.
It's true, actually.
Literally true. 20 from Australia, 5 New Zealand, 5 South Africa, 2 Barbados, 0 from England, or indeed the United Kingdom and Ireland.
Or Wales, yeah.
Yeah, it's England and Wales, you know. But yeah, so basically, yeah. It's not bad.
Incredible scenes. Oh yeah, but these I remember trying to go dozing off for a kip after I saw us like 60 odd for one. I was just like, okay, maybe we are going to do something good here. Maybe we're in for something unlike England. And then of course, why the fuck did I think that?
If Zach Crawley is in the team next time, I'm not staying up. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to fucking waste my time if they're not going to try.
I know, it's just, oh god, I think it's in the first innings. In the first innings, a couple of them was just you missed some straight ones and got some LBWs. This was just horrendous.
And as
Absolutely
we know, all
horrendous.
straight things are bad.
Yeah, I think the second innings, the second innings remind me of the Australia 60 all out, right? That's what it reminded me of. Some terrible leaves, some terrible wafting outside the off stump, and some just absolute hacks. It was terrible. It was genuinely rancid.
Yeah. I can't believe they gifted us a 40-run lead and we still could only set them 200.
Just absolute embarrassment.
You know there are 3 other days left in that game. You don't have to bat like it's a fucking one-day match, lads.
Oh, honestly, just absolute disgrace.
Yeah.
Absolute disgrace.
And of course, Travis Head down under. Love it.
I mean, Travis Head has been.
His surname means oral sex.
It does, and I think generally he's been on top of his game recently. I can't fault the guy.
Would you say he's been a sloppy topper?
A sloppy top of his game, yeah.
There you go. That's 2 blowjob jokes. You're very welcome, chap. Anyway,
although actually another thing I'll say before we get onto the award-winning journalism,
okay.
I am fucking sick of people on the internet having literally zero English comprehension or reading comprehension. Like someone posted some account on Twitter just posted a tweet saying Muslims are the working class, and I'm just like, no.
Hang on, are the entirety of the working class?
Yeah, so the actual tweet was
because there obviously are Muslims who are working class, if that's what they mean.
But yeah, but I mean, like this is again defending Adnan Hussein and Iqbal Muhammad. Muslims are the working class. Most people ripping on them are posh folk. And I just retweeted it with a picture of Wahid Ali and Zia Yusuf going, "Behold, the working class."
Well, exactly. Exactly. Look, because I was thinking to myself, is this like a really shorthand and silly way of saying, like making the point about when people talk about the white working class, you're leaving out huge swathes of the working class. And so were they just saying Muslims can be a part of the working class, but in a really weird and shit way? But no, it turns out they were just being a knob. Okay, cool.
Although they was in defense of fucking Adnan Hussein. He is the bourgeois. Like,
yeah.
Just, and I quoted it. This is a funny meme, but it's like, oh lol, isn't it funny? Like, these are 2 Muslims who clearly aren't working class. Therefore, the original statement is bunk. I was going, so you're saying that all Muslims are like Zia Yusuf? No. Where did I say that?
You know,
bitch, that's a whole new sentence.
You know who's the real working class?
50 years of my book printed Wish Me Good Luck.
Mohammed bin Salman. He's a Muslim and therefore is working class. The fact that he lives in lots of castles and kills journalists and melts them is irrelevant. He is working class. He will lead the proletarian revolution.
Oh, I multiple people within my replies in the quote tweets going, I can't believe you'd lump all Muslims in with Zia Yusuf. Where did I do this? Point me in the tweet where I did this. Would it have been right? Is the tweet super clear to you? Then if I quote to it someone saying Muslims are the working class, and then I quote to it with 2 Muslims that clearly aren't working class, is it clear to you, Kevin, that the point is that well, obviously no, just like every ethnicity, some are working class and some are not, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's a kind of like a this you type thing, yeah, where you're basically pointing out in an image or a small pithy phrase that there are at the very least exceptions to the broad statement being made. Yes.
Especially when the original tweet was in defense of a landlord, right?
So basically, people were attacking you for being an Islamophobe as well as an anti-Semite and all the rest of it. I imagine.
Yep, literally.
Love it. Good stuff. Fuck those people, basically. Thank you.
It's just to baby people because they just can't fucking.
I've given up trying with them. Fuck them. If you're going to be deliberately like obtuse about stuff like that, I ignore you. You're not worth engaging with. Thank you, Vogel. Yes, Vogel is an Austrian. Don't hold that against them. They're not all like that one. We won't mention him. He's got a book out, which is fucking awesome.
Oh, nice.
Vogel, link your website or whatever the fuck is going on there. And yeah, good
Got
luck
the
with that
Discords
shit.
as well.
Indeed, yes, yeah. And thank you for constantly being in my stream, because it's awesome that I get to rip on you for being Austrian. I think I mention Hitler every day just because they are in here. That's it. Suggestions in chat of the Austrian I was referring to. I wasn't expecting David Alaba as a possibility, but Arnold Schwarzenegger's there, obviously. Yeah, okay. Anyway, random Austrian celebrity people aside, and that is how I think of Hitler, a random Austrian celebrity. Shall we do some award-winning gerbalisms?
Let's do that. I mean, it's actual left wingers on the show today. What the fuck is going on?
Although, interestingly, this is the one week where it would have been, I think, pertinent to have a reform person, given that their former leader in Wales went down for 14 fucking years for being in the pay of the Kremlin. Literally actually doing a Russiagate.
I did like what was hilarious was Zia Yusuf also put a video on the day that he was convicted saying, "Oh, Zack Polanski wants to ask Putin to give up the nuclear weapons even while he marauds through Ukraine." I'm like, maybe not the right day to be making those accusations of others.
True.
Maybe not.
Also, did you see Zack Polanski absolutely rinse him?
Yeah, oh my god.
Yeah, he said, I can't believe you're so obsessed with me, but I've got to tell you, I've already got a boyfriend here. Which is just, just nipple-tastic. Let's go.
Absolutely.
His meme game is on point. Even if he never achieves anything, his memes are worth it, frankly.
And the thing is that the people in the replies are going, "Oh, that's not a very adult response." I'm like, adult response to fucking what? A dumb video where Zia Yusuf just went, "Here's Zach's policies." Like, that's what he said. That's
I think you mean proletarian, Zia Yusuf.
Zia Yusuf, proletarian, yeah.
Which, by the way, means, okay, transitive property time. You know, on Fox News, it was revealed that every single person in Birmingham is Muslim a few years ago. If every Muslim is also working class, that means everyone in Birmingham is working class. Boom!
Even Samuel Leeds.
Especially Samuel Leeds, the Muslim proletariat Samuel Leeds.
It's the Muslim proletarian landlord.
True.
Also, thank you, the Jack Miller, for £20. It's incredibly generous. The great rattling has been hilarious to watch today, and I can wear my badge of honour by saying I've been helping in the rattling this evening by saying the Greens want nothing more radical than return to post-war consensus economics. Yeah, exactly. The great rattling has been an absolute treasure.
True. Now, your people won't be able to see this, so just ignore what I'm about to say. But the fact that you have misspelt your own name to say 255 Dad in that is very fucking funny. You're a knob. Thank you. Anyway, award-winning journalism time. Let's go.
The Chancellor doesn't want to cut spending, and she doesn't want to raise your taxes. But the government can't have it all on Wednesday, when the budget finally arrives. As the huge day approaches this morning, we'll hear your hopes and fears.
What I'd like to see in the budget is the abolishment.
Who the fuck is this? Do we know this person?
No idea.
Okay, so he's got a guitar. He looks like he's trying to be cool.
There's a triple lock and means testing for the state pension.
One thing I really want to see in the budget is a rise in railway subsidies.
Please don't say that nothing can be done. Please don't say that it has to be business as usual.
Well, we know there's cash for transport because the Transport Secretary Heidi Alexander is with us live this morning alongside the Conservatives' money man Mel Stride and the leader.
Who? Who's that?
Yeah, some guy. I mean, it's interesting as well that the two of them are looking at Laura Kongsberg, and Zach is looking into the camera because, you know, he's the one who's been media trained.
True, and also, he's the only person there that's actually human.
Yeah.
Also, little dad podge, which I'm quite fond of. That's quite nice.
Right.
Little fupa action. Love it.
Of the Greens, Zack Polanski.
Chad!
And the extraordinary true story of Nazanin Zaghari Ratcliffe is about to be brought to life on TV. We'll hear from her husband and the actor who plays him, award-winning.
Well, it's been a belting week for Boris Johnson then. Outed as a murderer by the fucking COVID inquiry, and now his greatest hour as Foreign Secretary, where he got this woman in prison for longer by making shit up. Brilliant.
Joseph Fiennes.
Honestly, I found it when I first read the screen.
Oh, not this cunt again. Is he going to start doing fucking, what do you call it? NIMBY stuff again, or is this something different? I don't know.
Play. As a father of 2 children, I responded viscerally to the emotion of the story of Richard and Nazanin's plight here.
Oh, that's his brother. Oh, I forget there were more than one Fiennes. Yeah, sorry, my bad.
Morning, morning.
Why is Hunt there? Why is he not in jail? Why?
So they're trying to bait Laura Koonsberg into getting his name wrong.
That would be funny. Although I'm reminded now, I would never say this because this is bad, but the comedian Mark Thomas once said that his greatest wish in the world was to have a coffee mug made out of Philip Hunt's skull.
Incredible scenes.
You love to see it. Except,
again,
of course, I would never say that.
I'm still mad that when I saw Mark Steele live, I was the only person who laughed at his incredible Ken Clark impression.
Oh, did I? Oh, no, not Mark Steele, Mark Thomas. Sorry.
Oh, Mark Thomas. Oh, sorry.
So hang on, I got both names wrong. His name's not Philip Hunt, and I said the wrong comedian called Mark. I had one sentence, and I got 2 names in it, and I got both of them wrong.
Is Mark Thomas the one who infiltrated the arms fair?
That's the one. Yeah,
they're
similar.
Incredible. What an absolute fucking legend that guy is.
Yeah, Chad as fuck.
That single episode was so funny.
Honest to God. Funny. Look, if you haven't read As Used on the Famous Nelson Mandela, the amazing book about arms dealing and stuff by Mark Thomas, you should. For the title, you may be wondering about. It was literally used. You know when you're getting like what used to happen in catalogues with like as seen on TV because it had been advertised and so it was like a selling point or whatever. In an arms fair manufacturer's catalogue, there was advertised hand and foot restraints for to be used against walls, manacles, which are illegal. They're literally outlawed as weapons of torture. And not only were they being advertised, but it literally had as used on the famous Nelson Mandela. As a selling point. Now, I'm sorry, anyone who agreed to printing that and writing that, those people need to have all of their rights removed. They're not human.
100%.
They're not
Barbara
human.
Pitt, straight away. Don't pass go.
Yeah.
Also, actually, apparently you did say Mark Thomas, and I'm just a fucking idiot who misheard you. So I don't know why you're getting mad at yourself. Get mad at me.
I did fuck up Philip Hunt, though, because that's not his name. And I still can't remember his first fucking name.
And Philip Hammond, maybe what the confusion there was the Chancellor for Theresa May.
Maybe.
Jeremy Hunt was the
Jeremy
Chancellor
Hunt.
Chancellor for Liz Truss, apparently.
I'm just...
also, Mark Thomas has a book where he goes rambling along the Green Line in Israel-Palestine.
Yeah, he did do that, yeah. And actually, there's an interesting crossover, I think, in the intro to that book. He describes how he bumped into Mark Steele, fellow comedian, fellow Cockney, fellow, Londoner and all that, fellow Mark. And bumped into him and told him, oh, I'm going to Israel to do a thing and blah, blah, blah. And Mark Steele went into like a 10-minute rant about, why don't you just write some fucking jokes and go on stage like a normal comedian?
Well, the thing is, Mark Thomas is not a normal comedian.
He's not.
He's
no.
an extra comedian. Yeah. He's a step above everybody else.
Why do a show when you can do like potential international crimes?
Whereas Mark Steele's a basic bitch comedian.
Oh, outrageous. Not true. I'm sorry. Very few people would do comedy shows and comedy books about the French Revolution in the year 2012 or whenever it was.
True. And of course, I don't think Mark Thomas can do a particularly good Ken Clark impression, so...
Well, the gauntlet has been thrown down, Mark. Just saying, mate. You don't want that smear against your good name, sir. You know.
Team at the desk for the next hour this week. The leader of Unite, one of the UK's biggest unions, Sharon Graham.
Disassociate, disaffiliate, fucking disembark, disembowel, whatever. Stop it.
Disembowel Keir Starmer in Minecraft, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, again, hopefully the members of the next AGM we'll put the motion up and hopefully we'll get voted on.
I know, I don't know who the guy on the right is, but have you ever seen a man who more looks like he eats kittens? Look at him. It's like a Bond villain. What the fuck is that face you're pulling? You know you're on camera. Why has he got a book with... What the... Anyway, it's weird.
If his face looks upside down.
It does look upside down, yeah. It really does.
The former Chancellor...
The absolute lack of chin doesn't help. Yeah.
Jeremy Hunt and the Bank of England's former chief economist, Andy Haldane. Welcome to all three.
Oh, wow. So, leader of a union who's basically useless, someone who's absolutely evil and worthless, and someone who is equally worthless, although probably not as evil, but still quite evil. Cool.
Let's start with what we always do, what's making the news. The Sunday Times splashes on a badly kept budget secret. Rachel Reeves looks set to remove the limit on big families claiming some benefit.
Wow, who'd have thunk it? Why did they wait 18 months? Like we told them that it was inevitable they would have to fucking do anyway.
I mean, it's almost like that there's an electoral threat to the left, which means that they actually have to offer policies now. Wow, it's almost like the people who said, just vote tactically forever, realised that that meant they had all of their leverage being given up.
Yeah. Literally, Zack Polanski being the leader of the Green Party, and to a degree your party, although that's disintegrating as we speak.
Oh dear.
But they do have a lot of members, and there has been like a thing. There's clearly a movement on the left. That is the sole reason that A, this has happened, and that B, as we'll get to, I'm sure, with Heidi Alexander, they've frozen the rail prices. When they obviously didn't want to do that, because that just means they're going to have to invest more in terms of subsidy for the railway companies or railway franchises, because they're technically nationalised now. But yeah. Anyway, so that's literally, and that's the point, right? In an era where Nigel Farage, a man with as many MPs as the Green Party have, or one more now because of by-elections, whatever, is basically dictating government policy. You don't have to be in office to actually make a positive change in the world. And Zack Polanski has already done that. Even in small ways, he's already done that.
Was it literally exactly what Farage did in 2015, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. Why not use the same tactic that worked, but for good rather than evil?
It's known as the two-child cap. The Sunday Mirror has a promise from Rachel Reeves saying the government will...
Why is there a nonce on the front page of that cover? And I'm not just talking about Reeves. Oh! Because Prince Andrew's there. Actually, he's not Prince, is he? Mountbatten, the cunt.
Will help ease the cost of living. Zack Polanski's been speaking to The Observer too, and the paper...
I mean, could you make him any sexier? Really? Like, you don't need to, but it's just amazing.
Leads with that interview and his claim he'd never trust Keir Starmer. We'll speak to him later.
Chad!
The Sunday Telegraph takes on the proposed plan for peace in Ukraine being discussed in Geneva today. But
yeah, did you see Trump, the cunt, come out and say the Ukrainians weren't... what was the phrase he used? Oh, fuck's sake. Basically, they weren't giving him kudos for it. They were being ungrateful. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know they're at war, right? They're being literally decimated.
Trump should send Mamdani to negotiate with Putin.
Well, speaking of which, did you see him flirting?
Oh my fucking god, it was incredible. We watched it on stream, it was so good.
My people haven't... Well, they probably have already seen it, but I haven't shown it, so... I mean, just... Like, he obviously... He's already won. Literally... Hang on. Well, actually, this woman explains it very well. It's a TikTok, so... Yeah, whatever. We'll get back to British stuff in a second.
I genuinely believe this man is a witch, unironically. I think that he should be our first round pick for the
Olympics because he is performing tricks previously unheard of. Let me demonstrate. Donald Trump on Zoran Mamdani following their meeting at the White House. I can tell you that some of my views have changed. I feel very confident that he can do a very good job. I think he's going to surprise some conservative people, actually, and some very liberal people. He won't surprise them because they already like him. What did you say to him? What did you say to him? What did you say to him? And if you're thinking, that's crazy, maybe Zoran just went into that meeting and just...
I hope someone has done the meme of 5 Zorans stood behind a white couch with Donald Trump sat on it.
Oh my God.
I do hope that has already happened. I haven't seen it, but I hope.
Appealed to Donald Trump's interests and lied and blah, blah, and he's actually two-faced.
President a fascist, and your answer was, both President Trump and I have been clear about our positions and our views. Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay, you can just say
yes.
Okay.
Okay.
It's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
He is flirting with him.
Yeah,
You gotta...
that little touch on the arm, just why you go, it's fine, it's fine. You call me a fascist, maybe I'm into it, you know, it's fine. Yeah.
I like it when you talk dirty to me.
Exactly. He also called me a dirty bitch and spat in my mouth. It was lovely.
You have insulted him in every way, shape, and form since your election began. You said during your acceptance speech, Donald Trump, I know you're watching, turn the volume up, and you have somehow gotten him to flirt with you while insulting him. He's flirting with him!
Literally. Fucking literally. Oh, America is a wild place. You forget, just because it's not an island doesn't mean it's not very normal.
The Sun and the Mail on Sunday both splashed on the Prime Minister's comments that just like anyone, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor should answer questions on Jeffrey Epstein if he has evidence.
True. Speaking of Epstein's friends, back to Trump for a second. Yeah, someone pointed out Trump's got more affection for Zohran Mamdani after one meeting than he's ever shown to any of his children. Literally.
Apparently, Piers Morgan is mentioned multiple times in the Epstein files. I do not know more context. All I know is that his name is in the files.
Oh, for hang on a minute. Sorry, I keep being distracted by memes. My bad. Thank you to this person in chat. Fucking silly bastards. This isn't offensive, is it? I think this might be offensive. I'm not sure. Am I going to get a fatwa issued against me now? I don't know.
The subject of mockery here is Fox News, not the Muslims that they are mocking.
Not the Kaaba. No. That is definitely not something I would mock. Certainly not on stream, for fuck's sake. Anyway, let's go.
To share. So, let's get to the main business of the day, then the budget. You all in various ways are hugely...
Oh, thank you, Sister Rose, the practicing Muslim, for coming in at that exact moment. Oh, Jesus. I respect you and your religious beliefs. That's absolutely fine. Oh...
familiar with what is going on.
Everyone go and follow Sister Rose.
So I just wonder, for both of you, what is your absolute top of the list thing that you would want Rachel Reeves to achieve this week?
Well, look, I think what Rachel needs to do this week is be Labour. They are a Labour government. Go in and put a budget in.
Maybe you could put some pressure on them to do that at any fucking point. Considering you literally bankrolled that party. Come on now.
I mean, maybe you might want to see your interests in some way represented by the Labour government's actions. Like, I don't know, the NHS staff that you represent, or the refuse workers that you represent.
That is actually Labour. They need to do a wealth tax, because everyday people cannot pay any more. They need to go to the wealthiest in our society, and they also need to change the fiscal rules so that we can borrow to invest. They need to be Labour.
Okay. The implication, of course, there being that they haven't been Labour enough for you so far. Andy Haldane, Labour's already changed the rules around spending and borrowing. So what would you want to see this week?
Well, we've had, month upon month of speculation, fiscal fandango, basically. We need...
Did this cunt just say fiscal fandango? What are you... I mean, I already knew you're a wanker, mate. You didn't need to fucking confirm it. Like, at least let me do some actual analysis of this. Fiscal fandango. I can't listen to you now. I can't listen to you. You're literally worthless.
And that's been costly for the economy. It's caused paralysis among businesses and consumers.
So that's a real-world consequence of the political whirligig that's been going on.
It's the single biggest reason why growth has flatlined and has been grounded in the second half of the year. So next week we need a decisive action that puts to bed and beyond reproach any notion of further tax rises, I would say. And actually,
suck my dick. Actually suck all of my dick and my balls and anus and gooch. People voted for change, so you want no change.
Literally, again, like that's the thing, is that so much of policy is just entirely set by institutional power that is outside the realm of democracy.
Yeah,
that's no democratic mandate.
Exactly.
Accompanying that, a re-engineering of the budgetary process. Too lengthy, too leaky, with real costs. So that
sounds like my penis.
Fix for the foreseeable future the possibility of tax rises and fix the budget process.
That's interesting. So the process itself has been damaging here. You've said that fiscal fandango. Jeremy Hunt,
don't
you were a
repeat
it.
it.
You did lots of different jobs in government, so you know what it feels like the Sunday before a budget. If you were Rachel Reeves, what would you do?
Well, first of all, politics
kill
aside,
millions.
Yeah, exactly.
Millions must die.
I would strangle puppies to death for fun.
I would burn money in front of the homeless.
I am Jeremy Hunt. I would literally drink the blood of the poor.
Completely understand the pressure that Rachel Reeves is under. It is really, really tough. But there is a big choice that she is making, which we should be talking about more, which is between welfare reform and tax rises. If she got the welfare bill down to the level it was just before the pandemic, so not too far back, there wouldn't need to be any tax rises at all, and she'd have a lot more headroom in her budget.
Whoa. Okay. Right, Kevin. Maybe I'm just silly. Maybe I'm just a dumb, stupid head, right? But, right, okay. A big part of welfare spending is people who are sick, right?
Yes, that is
I'm
a
right.
thing.
Okay, that's okay. Not too stupid, okay. And a pandemic, if that happens, right, that might change how many people are sick.
It would
Is
certainly.
that reasonable?
It's certainly reasonable to suggest it may have increased the number of people who are indeed ill.
Okay, so when he says reduce the welfare bill to what it was before the pandemic, right? Is he just forgetting that's partly why so many people are sick and why the welfare bill is high?
No, but you see, going back to the point we were making before he said that, he just wants to kill. He just wants to go through like hospital wards and just shoot all of the people dead, and then you don't have to give them any money.
Yes, like literally. Has he tried to raise VAT and kill all the poor?
Literally. Thank you, Fuzzmos, for gifting a community sub on the Twitches. Much love. Don't forget you can give us both money, because we need it, because Jeremy Hunt will track us down and kill us if we're too poor.
True.
Instead, I fear when we hear about the two-child cap this morning that she's going the opposite direction. We're going to be spending more on welfare, and the great risk of putting up...
See, I was already in favour of it, but the fact that it makes you sad, the fact that I know that it makes your winky stinky, is fun to me. Fuck you.
Taxes is that you slow down economic growth even more, and we end up coming back with an even more difficult budget in a year's time, and that's my big worry.
Okay. But I think the thing, Laura, is that what people are going to look at this morning...
Because, of course, economies usually work really well when the people with the highest propensity for consumption have no money at all, right?
Yes. The people you rely upon to spend have no money to spend. That's a recipe for success, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, the businesses can just magic customers out of the ether.
Is who pays, who pays. So for too long, it's been workers and communities that have paid. This budget has got to show whose side Labour is on, and they are not going...
We already know, Sharon. Like, you again, I don't want to make it too Birmingham-centric, but, like, you have a Labour council here and a Labour government nationally telling your workers to cross your picket line.
Like...
I don't know what more clear, other than literally going to your house and burning it down in front of your face. I don't know, they can send you a stronger message of their intent toward you.
I mean, like, industrial relations have broken down so badly, even the scabs are on strike.
Yeah, literally, the scabs unionised because they were treated so poorly by the same people treating the initial workers poorly that they're now unionising and going on strike. They've managed to force 2 workforces on strike. Like, how do you even manage that? Like, surely the one thing about scabs is that they go to work in difficult circumstances, but no, you made it so bad that even they are like, no. So what? You know what they need? Scabs to cross the picket line and the scabs picket line, and then when they go on strike, you just never-ending regression. The year is 2037, and the Birmingham scab picket line has been crossed by more scabs.
Like the Ouroboros of scabs.
Scabception, yes.
Inscaption.
Workers and
True.
communities to pay again. That is absolutely critical. If they don't do that, then people will move away from Labour. There's no doubt about that. That's what I'm hearing.
They already have. They already have.
Like 16% of the polls.
Like, I've seen several polls that have the Green Party having more seats after this than Labour, which is fucking mental.
Who pays is the question that needs to be answered.
Okay, all three of you, it's great to have you with us.
It's been 18 months. They won a fucking majority 18 months ago. And they're on the verge of wipeout. Because, and not just that, you'll see, I think you'll probably see a slight bounce in the polls when they announce things like the, freezing train prices and stuff like that. And who'd have thunk it? If you offer people policies they like, that make their lives materially better, they feel more positively toward you. Who could possibly have worked out this complicated political chicanery?
Well, the thing is that, for so long, I think a lot of our political class have treated offering the public good things is cheating.
Yeah.
For some reason, they feel like it's cheating to go and say, yeah, we're just going to make things cheaper for you. We're just going to use the state to do things that people want. And I'm like, you've been doing that all along, right? Like, that's why, partly of why people kind of derided Jeremy Corbyn. They're just like, he's just offering people things that they ask for. And I'm like, that's the whole fucking point, mate.
Isn't that sort of how democracy is supposed to work? Like, you put your ideas to people and they go, yeah, we want those ideas, and then the person goes and does those things on behalf of the people who sent them there to do those things. No, it's just essentially what they want it to be is essentially a works program for PPE graduates from Oxbridge. That's it.
Yeah, you spend 10 years in the Commons getting 90k a year in expenses, and then you get to get seconded into the fucking private sector working 40 days a year for 30 grand or something.
At this very moment, Britannia burns.
It's on such a big day, so thanks for your insights so far. Forget all the froth, ignore all the noise, and there has been a lot of it. The fiscal fandango, as Andy Haldane described it.
Don't repeat it twice. This is how I know that A, she's a melter, and that B, he's a melter, is that she loves that phrase. She thinks that's fucking brilliant. And it makes me want to pull my hair out with the sheer amount of fucking contempt I have for these people.
No, the government doesn't want to cut spending or stick more on the mythical credit card or ask most of you...
Yes, mythical! Because it doesn't fucking exist! We make our own fucking money! Oh... How can you say that and then be like, as soon as we go, someone wants to spend tuppence halfpenny on a fucking school to stop it falling down. Well, where are we getting this money from? How are we going to invest that in the fucking nuclear bombs we're never going to use? Fuck's sake.
No. Student politics. That's student politics.
Sorry, I am being student. You know what? It's the latent flea within me. I can't help it.
Much more tax. But the Chancellor is hemmed in by the economic reality that there isn't much to go round, and the political truth that her party is often greedy for more spending. And the restless...
Greedy! So it's never greedy when the rich want tax cuts, that's not greed. No. When the poor want to be able to afford to live, you greedy bastards. Literally, she is literally the fucking workhouse guy going, more, boy? You want more?
But Kev, the BBC has a left-wing bias.
Oh, it's so biased. Honestly, it's like fucking communism FM.
Unhappy public. Well, many are eager to see more bang for their buck. In the last couple of weeks, we've been asking you to let us know what you would like the government to do.
Hi there, my name's Linda and I'm the owner here at the Kitchen Croxley.
My name's Bo. I commute from Berkshire to London every day.
Oh, God. Bo from Berkshire. Oh, I'm sure he's a nice enough guy, but like, could you sound any more briefcase?
I mean, like, as someone who's from Buckinghamshire, I would like everyone to know that the term Burke originates from the idea of someone coming from Berkshire.
Yeah, it's all I'll say, slough. And we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there.
God.
I'm James, and I'm a scientist living in Manchester.
I'm Chief Hunter of Minehead in Somerset, owner of a sustainable living business.
My name is Ellen Breed.
Oh, based. Okay. Fair dues.
I am a master's student studying in London and living at home with my parents.
What the fuck was that accent?
Within the hospitality sector, we're really struggling with the rate of VAT at 20%. Also, the increase in the employer's national insurance contributions has hit us hard.
What I'd like to see in the budget is the abolishment of triple lock and means testing for the state pension.
Is abolishment a word? I thought it was abolishment. Abolition. No?
I'm pretty sure it's
Is it? Okay. Well, either way, we'll let him off. He's got a woolen cap on indoors, so he's.
I mean, what I will say is that abolish the triple lock. I agree with. I don't means test this. No, don't means test the state pension. I mean, because again, you'll just get in this stupid system like we have at the moment, where people will stop earning because it will get them to a point at which their marginal tax rate is so stupidly high because of them going over a certain threshold of the means test that there's no point in them doing any extra work. No, means testing is stupid, both in terms of people falling through the gaps, in terms of the administrative costs of doing the means test, and the perverse incentives that you get for people who fall just above where the means test will lie.
I'm so sorry. You were making a very good point, and I clicked on a link that my chat had sent me, and don't ask for things, I suppose, is the lesson from this. Hang on a minute.
Please tell me you watched the 6 Bomber Clark egg video that
I did, thank you, yes. That is
good.
Jesus Christ.
Incredible.
What a timeline we live in. I mean, that's going in the folder. Obviously, click, save, boom. Let's have you. Fucking hell. I apologise for nothing.
So the payments only go to people who really need that support.
One thing I really want to see in the budget is a rise in railway subsidies.
I would like to see more help given to small businesses who'd like to employ staff but put off by all the extra costs on top of paying a living wage. I'm not opposed to an income tax rise, just as long as we can see it's being spent properly.
One thing that I want to see in the up-and-coming budget is for first-time buyer stamp duty to stay at £425,000.
You can tell she's got really rich parents, right?
Like,
is that she's living in she's in London. She's got a really posh accent. She still lives with her parents. Just like, I want us to make sure stamp duty is as cheap as possible because mummy and daddy are providing me with a deposit for a house. You know,
that's ridiculous. Like, the thing is, I saw a young person. I thought, oh, they've got a young person. Maybe they'll represent anything to do with. No, it's just some rich cunt. Okay. You might as well be 90. I don't care. You know.
Yeah, like the two actual young people that got on was one person saying "fuck the old people," and the other one was saying, "I would like it so that my first house is very cheap." And that's perfectly reasonable. That's not really as high a concern as I would like to see fewer poor people dying, please.
Yeah. Like the one of the most base things was that old guy going, "I don't mind an income tax rise as long as it's going to spend it well." Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So. The most sensible guy there was the oldest. Fuck me. What timeline is this?
One thing I don't want to see in the budget are any new taxes on electric vehicles.
What I don't want to see is an increase in VAT or fuel duty.
One thing that I do not want to see are any cuts to disability allowances.
Please don't say.
Okay, you know what? Maybe we judged her slightly early.
Yeah, we went.
She's still a rich dickhead, but clearly with some semblance of social conscience. So I'll let her off.
There you go. Fair enough. Touche.
Yeah.
That nothing can be done. Please don't say that it has to be business as usual, because if that's all that comes out of the budget, then for many of us there will be no business as usual.
Well, that's the thing. this is the Labour Party's last real chance, I think, of turning anything around. I don't think they're going to be able to sustain themselves in the long run anyway, but in terms of being a viable political party at the end of this Parliament, they have to get this right. They have to actually do some genuine progressive things. They were elected. Look, did they think when people voted for the party that said change, and then they did nothing to change, that people would just forget that? The people would just go, it's fine. They didn't change anything.
Okay, again, as far as they were concerned, the thing is, the Labour right, the reason why they keep talking about the adults in the room is because they genuinely believe this stuff. They genuinely believe that everyone else in politics is ideological and totally bonkers or balmy or whatever it was that Steve Reed said about the Green Party, and that only they are the ones who are sensible and pragmatic enough to make the right decisions on the interests of the country, because they're just that naturally competent. Of course, everyone can see that's a bunch of fucking nonsense, but they genuinely believe these things, and they thought when they said to change, they would just be less, I don't know, corrupt, when of course they're incredibly corrupt. They'd be less dumb, even though they're incredibly dumb. And they would be less, openly contemptful of the public, even though they clearly are the most contemptful of the public. And that would be enough to carry them through on the back of their own fucking, unwarranted self-assurance. Except, no, it hasn't. And people actually want a material change in their lives, which, of course, they haven't delivered.
Sure.
Well, let's talk then to Heidi Alexander, the Transport Secretary, who's here for the government this morning. Welcome. I just want to start, first of all, with all of the chatter around the budget that's been going on for many months. Andy Haldane, who's a very well-known and respected economist, has said...
No, he isn't. He said fucking, was it...
Fiscal fandango.
I nearly said Flemish fandango, which is just the needless racial element thrown in. Fiscal fandango. He's not a respected person. He's a very silly boy.
The fiscal fandango has damaged...
Oh, suck a cock! What the fuck? You've really taken to that phrase. The phrase that makes me want to terms of service that human being.
The economy.
Well, what our priorities for this budget are, which is about cutting the cost of living for people. We're making an announcement today about freezing rail fares for the first time in 30 years. We want to cut NHS waiting lists, and we want to cut the national debt. And so I think the fact that the Chancellor has been open and honest about the considerations that are at play in this process is important for the electorate. She needs to explain what is happening. The review that the OBR have done about the productivity forecasts has meant that this whole process has really taken place on shifting sands to start off with, and we've got a very challenging global economic environment.
But there's one thing saying to people in advance, look, it's going to be tough and we need you to understand that. It's quite another thing by one senior MP's 13 different tax raises floated, all sorts of measures put out there and discussed in the public domain. So again, do you accept, as Andy Haldane does, that all this months of speculation and guessing games has actually materially damaged the economy? That's what he's just told us.
People always speculate in advance of a budget, Laura, and we have always said, wait until the budget on the 26th of November. The Chancellor
Well, you haven't. The Chancellor's been out there giving speeches. You haven't said wait and see. You're here with an announcement today.
Well, I think the government would have been damned if we do, damned if we don't. If the Chancellor hadn't made that speech, you would have been saying, where is the Chancellor? And so the fact that she has made clear her priorities about cutting the cost of living for people, we know that those pressures are still really acute for families across the country, cutting NHS waiting lists and cutting the national debt, as well as being clear about what her commitments are around fiscal stability, strong fiscal rules.
So I didn't want to have to do it, but my one fandango fact. You know, there are two #1 records in British history that have the word fandango in it. No justice? Hello? No justice MTG? Hello? Oh, for fuck's sake, why is it doing this? Hello?
Hello, Kevin.
Why does it do this to me?
I don't know why.
Anyway, apparently you were talking and I was just not pausing or anything. Apologies, I couldn't hear you.
Yeah,
so
it's interesting that again, just immediately they've said cost of living, like 5 times. Wow, has somebody watched a certain election somewhere else in the world that was very, very successful by just talking about cost of living over and over and over again?
Yeah.
Maybe like when it was clear in every poll of what issues people were concerned about, they kept talking about the cost of living. Maybe you should talk about that before now.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something you should have talked about before you were, polling lower than the Labour Party have literally ever polled in human history.
True. Yeah. Sorry, I was going to do my Fandango fact.
Do your Fandango facts. Go on then.
Right, there are literally there are 2 songs in British history that made the #1 to have the word Fandango in the lyrics. One's pretty obvious, I think, and the other not so.
I mean, there's Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, Bohemian Rhapsody, and the other one, White a Shade of Pale.
I didn't realise that had Fandango in it.
And then we trip the light Fandango to the whiter shade of pearl. So, if you want to become the 3rd person to do that, chat, write a song with Fandango in it and get it to #1. I'm sure. Do they even have charts anymore? I gave up caring about music a long time ago.
Making sure that we are getting national debt down so that we can invest more in public services, spend more of taxpayers' money on investing in schools, the NHS, roads, energy infrastructure, because at the moment we're spending £1 in every 10 on servicing the national debt. So we need to get the national debt down so we can invest in public services.
Okay, well, some of the investments that you're making are lucky for your department. In your department, you mentioned the rail fare freeze already, and one of our viewers, Bo, said he'd like to see more subsidy into rail. You are freezing fares, regulated fares, so about half of them in England, but it only covers half the kind of tickets that people get. Can you guarantee that other fares won't go up to compensate?
So this is the first time in 30 years that any government has frozen fares. In the last decade and a half, rail fares have gone up by 60%, and both the Chancellor and I are acutely aware of how important affordability is to the travelling public. That's why we're stepping in to make sure that hard-working families and commuters can keep more of their hard-earned cash. Regulated fares means that over 1 billion journeys next year will benefit from this freeze. It's really significant. If you're commuting on a flexi...
So she's not saying that, no, those other ones won't go up to compensate.
Well, how else are the shareholders of the TOCs that are still in private ownership going to make their money?
Again, terms of service. I'll just say that.
Season ticket from Milton Keynes into London for 3 days a week. That's a saving of over £300.
See, I don't think we should be encouraging the people of Milton Keynes to do anything. Just stay there and fucking die in Minecraft. Actually, someone in chat was fucking defending Slough. They were like, "Oh, Slough's all right." No, it isn't.
I mean, people literally wrote poems about wanting it to be annihilated by ordnance, right? Like,
yeah. No, I know he's a transphobic piece of shit, but he was funny back in the day. If you get a chance, watch Ricky Gervais's full reading as David Brent. He reads the Slough poem by Betjeman and like goes through it, and it's the funniest shit. It's fucking brilliant. And he goes at one point, he goes, and the women frizz out their hair with peroxide, and he goes, "Oh, what? Don't he like girls?" Fucking brilliant, man. Oh.
Compared to if fares had gone up by the amount that they went up last year, which was RPI +1, because fares have historically tracked against inflation. This is going to make a real difference to people.
And lots of people watching might think, hooray, it's going to be cheaper for me to get to work than it otherwise might have been. But the question here is, who's going to pay for that? So are other ticket prices going to go up to compensate? Or indeed, are train operators and the government actually going to have less to spend on repairing creaky old lines, buying new trains, the kinds of updates that so much of our transport...
Again, it bears in mind the amount of money we pissed away subsidising private companies. We could have relayed every inch of track in Britain. Every single one, and had plenty of money spent left over to invest in, say, something like a high-speed fucking rail line.
Love it, brilliant, great. But again, Kevin, what you're missing out there is the private companies, well, up until recently, who own these things. They're very sad. They're very hungry.
Literally, I mean, it would hurt a lot of people, but I think it would be very telling. What they should do is fully privatise it and not subsidise for a single penny of taxpayers' money, and see how quickly that system crumbles.
Just totally collapsed, yeah.
You cannot run a train system in Britain for a profit, because you would have to be so financially prohibitive, the cost of tickets, that no one would use it. Literally not a single person would get on a fucking train, because it'd cost you £1,000 to get from Nottingham to London. But the thing is, it may cost that amount, but I think it's worth the government investing in that to allow people to travel around the country. I think that's a good thing, actually. If we have to subsidise that in the form of nationalising and, paying money into that system in a kind of British Rail type thing, that would be awesome.
I mean, at the very least, we're going to have the TOCs eventually, once their contracts run out, at some point in the future, back in public ownership, but we'll still be leasing the trains.
Like, setting up a kind of British Rail would be a really good way of doing, I don't know, patriotic national renewal.
Train communism, I think you mean, Kevin.
So, train Marxism, yeah, that's true.
Network desperately needs.
No, this is a fully funded policy, and the Chancellor will be setting out more information at the budget. Regulated fares have tended to inform the price of unregulated fares. They track against each other normally, and so the capital.
They track alongside each other. I see what she did there. That's very nice.
Investments that we're making in the.
I can see she's trained in this area. I hate myself.
Rail network, be that investment in HS2 to complete the line between London and Birmingham, the Transpennine route upgrade.
But Manchester can suck a dick!
And Leeds.
And fucking Bradford and everywhere else. Everywhere north of Birmingham can fuck right off. Basically, what they're going to do is turn Birmingham into a commuter city for London.
I mean, to be fair, Keir Starmer thought, well, Kevin Logan is in Birmingham. Why would anyone need to go further than that?
True.
Why would you need to go see Manchester and Leeds when you can see Kev?
When you can come to the 100% Muslim, 100% proletarian city of Birmingham.
Exactly. No, I don't mean the Caliphate of Birmingham.
Yeah, the Islamic Republic of Birminghamistan. Brumistan? You get the idea.
Oh my fucking god, Brumistan's great.
And connectivity between some of the great cities of the north of England, or even building that new railway between Oxford and Cambridge. That's protected because we recognise that investing in the infrastructure of this country is the right long-term decision. And I think this is what lies underneath what the Chancellor is trying to achieve here. She will take the necessary and fair decisions in the long-term interests of this country. We saw what happened under Liz Truss and the previous Conservative government when they cut capital spending. And Jeremy sat, on your panel today, and he will know that Liz Truss, when she was Prime Minister, it was a ridiculous...
Call him a cunt. Honestly, you'd get so much support.
Jeremy cunt. Do it. Do it.
No, literally, how fucking based would this be? If she just pointed across at him and went, you've got that fucking cunt on your show, right? He is the fucking reason that this country's a shithole. Him and his fucking party are a bunch of wankers. You'd get a bump of 5% in the polls.
Well, I mean, just the people want politicians to tell it like it is, right? Tell it like it is. He's a dickhead.
Yeah. And that's the way normal people talk. It's not all of this like, well, I'll refer you to the answer I gave in question time, blah, 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 Hansard, page 1, 2... No one gives a fuck about any of that shit. Come out and say it's a load of pish.
Literally, talk about roofs falling on children's heads in schools full of rack concrete, right? Like, that was capital spend that was cut, and kids almost died. Like, you've got so much ammunition.
Yeah. Point across at Hunt and go, this is the man that destroyed the NHS. He should be in prison.
Yeah, literally. Spectacle of her complaining about a hospital.
She can't go on about him destroying the NHS because it was his war with the junior doctors that was one of the big things he did to destroy his capability of running the NHS, and that's literally what West Streeting is doing.
That's I suppose so. Maybe if they tried not being Tories, and then they could attack the Tories for being Tories.
True.
The problem is, if they carry on being Tories, they will never be able to attack the Tories for Toryism, because they will also inadvertently be attacking themselves for Toryism.
True.
Where the roof was falling in, and the hospital was
Like on the fucking schools! Mention the schools!
on stilts,
But
and
this is
that is
your-
a consequence of the short-term
But this is
decisions
your budget,
of
and this is Labour's
cutting capital investment,
And this is
and
your
we're
budget.
not going to be doing
And Labour's
that.
been in charge now for nearly 18 months, and this is Rachel Reeves.
Wasn't Rachel Reeves' first move when she got into office cutting capital spending?
Basically, there was a bunch of like hospital stuff. I think it was part of the 40 new hospital thing that was a bit of smoke and mirrors from the Johnson administration. But they did then, after that stuff got cut, they did at the budget increase the overall NHS spend, both capital and OPEX. So I let it slide. But I was really, at the time I was like, well, what the fuck are you talking about? But the budget
It doesn't set the mood very well.
Well, because they got into government thinking the way you look smart and sensible and competent in government is to get into office and go, everything sucks. Oh no, look how bad the previous administration were. Oh, it's going to get worse before it gets better. That's how bad they were. And they didn't realise the mood of the nation was that we were sick of being told it's terrible and the last government sucked. Give us the change that you're after. And they didn't do that. They then tried to, put the disabled into poverty.
Yeah.
Second budget, and the economy has not been pretty since you have been in charge. But one of the other things you want to do is around electric cars. Have you bought your electric car yet? We asked you last time you were here.
I haven't, and I think last time I spoke to you, Laura, I said I'm not in the habit of buying a new car every couple of years, and I think that's the experience of the majority of people across the country. Buying a new car is a big investment. When I do purchase a new car, the next car I buy will be an electric vehicle.
So you're going to subsidise, with nearly £2 billion, people who might be thinking about buying an electric car. But this is an expansion of what you announced in the summer, and the evidence so far...
What difference does it make what car she's fucking got?
Because personal, individual responsibility, Kevin. There's nothing is more important than vaguely gesturing at imagined hypocrisy.
Like, let's say she drives the most gas-guzzling car imaginable. She gets 2 miles to the gallon. She's literally punching penguins to death, right? Whatever. If she manages to make a green revolution happen and everyone's driving an electric car by the end of Labour's term, she'll have done a fantastic job. And I'll praise her for that. I don't give a fuck what she drives particularly. She is one human being. Stop trying to individualise the problem.
Especially given that the real problem is that none of it's actually the individual choices of people in it's fucking gigantic mega corporations.
Yeah, exactly. And not just that, but like unaccountable wankers using huge amounts of energy to cool systems that have, AI, fucking, massive banks of computers for AI, so that you can, produce fucking slop about, I don't know, whatever, just rubbish.
Doesn't really suggest that it's made that much difference. In fact, the numbers of people who bought an electric car, I think in September, once the scheme was up and running, is basically the same as it was the month before. So why are you putting taxpayers' money towards relatively well-off people who might be able to buy a new car in any case?
So let's be clear, purchases of electric vehicles are at a record high. Since we launched
the scheme,
it is on an upward trajectory, and we have the highest volume of sales of electric vehicles as a result, I think, of the introduction of the electric car grant. The electric car grant gives people who are buying a new electric car up to £3,750 off a new vehicle. There are 39 models that are eligible for that grant, and since we launched it a couple of months ago, 35,000 people have availed themselves of this grant. This is an investment in the country's future. We see the transition to electric vehicles and the good quality manufacturing jobs that are associated with that. For example, the Nissan Leaf, which is produced at Sunderland, thousands of jobs dependent upon that. That's just qualified for the electric car grant. And so making sure that we are enabling people to buy a new electric vehicle if that's what they want to do, whilst also investing in charging infrastructure.
But we're also...
It is the right term, it is the right long-term decision for the country.
But unless you want to rule it out right now, which is your choice to do, we're also expecting the Chancellor to make it more expensive to drive an electric car with some sort of pay per mile scheme. So if you pardon the pun, you're trying to get people to make it cheaper to buy them, but make it more expensive to drive them, which is putting the foot on the brake and the accelerator at the same time. That doesn't make sense, does it?
So I'm not going to preempt the budget. I know that the Chancellor will be on your show next week and can
You're not
answer
gonna deny
questions
it, though.
about
It's in
the
your brief.
announcement that she's going to make. As we make the transition to electric vehicles, I think two things can be true at the same time. We need a fair vehicle taxation system for all motorists, because EVs, like drivers of petrol and diesel cars, they're driving on roads that require maintenance. We've got ageing infrastructure, motorways that were built back in the 60s and 70s. And so we need to have a fair taxation system that is future focused. But we're not going to do anything to jeopardise the transition to electric vehicles. And that.
Okay, she said transition 3 times. I think that's where streeting appears and like takes away your rights or something, doesn't it? I think that's how it works. Oh God, it's the fucking noise happened again.
What's that?
Oh, sorry. No, I'm good.
Will remain front and centre.
But it is a problem that this government sometimes has, is that you give a mixed message. So whether electric cars will be both cheaper and more expensive, Rachel Reeves says that she's determined to try and control welfare spending.
The issue is, right, is that the whole point about wanting to have electric cars is it means that per mile your emissions are less, right? So you want to, even if people are still going to use diesel and petrol cars, you want to make it expensive for them you want to make it expensive for them to do per mile, but not like prohibitively expensive to have in the first place if you're just doing it to run to the shops or whatever. It's incredibly perverse to then go, well, the people who are going to be using loads and loads and loads of petrol, who otherwise we're now going to change to electric, are going to spend more to be prolific users. So the exact kind of people who you want to make the transition to electric.
Yeah, as pointed out in chat, surely what we would need is some sort of car fandango.
I mean, that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Car cavalcade.
But it looks like the 2-child benefit cap is going to be removed. I mean, will you be pleased if that happens and those limits
Oh no, a poverty fandango. Jesus.
on benefits for people with bigger families disappears?
So I think tackling child poverty is in the DNA of the Labour Party. Nobody wants to see kids going without, and we know that.
So why have you been in government for 18 months making sure that they went without?
Why did 7 MPs have the whip removed for doing exactly what you say is in the DNA of the Labour Party? When you said no one wants to see kids going hungry, well, clearly Sir Kid Starver absolutely did, which is why he ordered the whips to remove the whip from the MPs that voted to stop kids going hungry.
Well, I can only imagine that Rachel Reeves, when she announces this at the budget, will have the whip removed from her.
Exactly.
Because it's consistent, right?
That children who are growing up in poverty have a lifetime of consequences associated with that. Less likely to do well at school, more likely as a young adult not to be in employment or in training. We also know that 3/4 of children who are growing up in poverty in this country are in households where mum and dad are working. And so, look, Bridget Phillipson, the education...
Well, capitalism seems to be working super well then. When 2 parents can't afford to fucking feed their family.
I know that's just the efficiency of the free market, Kevin.
Yum, yum, yum.
The Secretary has done a brilliant job in leading the Child Poverty Task Force, and I'm confident that across the piece we will be making decisions.
By Child Poverty Task Force, you mean the 18-month-long fucking waste of time that is telling you exactly what every child poverty charity was telling you 18 months ago when you got rid of the whip from all those MPs for wanting to do the thing that you said was in the DNA of the Labour Party that satisfied the idea that no one in the Labour Party wants to see kids go hungry, right? Is that right? Is that right, Kevin? Is that what's happening here?
I believe that is indeed the case, yes. And if you likewise don't want to see either No Justice or myself go hungry, you could help us out in the form of bits and subs and subscriptions.
Do that.
And super
Do that as a thing.
Ladies and gentlemen,
which mean that at the end of this Parliament, there are fewer children living in poverty than there were at the start of it.
So
and I think
all I will say is that under Labour's watch so far, we have reached literally the highest percentage and overall number of child homelessness.
Oh no, but as Solly pointed out, right? As Solly pointed out, that's it's just the pocket money that you're taking that they're getting, right?
Yeah,
you're just taking the pocket money.
going to go?
So I'm not going to get ahead of the budget, Laura, but what I would say is that one of the defining elements of this government for me is about what we can do to ensure that children's chances in life aren't determined by the size of their parents' bank balance.
What fucking world do you live in? That you think that's a defining characteristic of this government? Like, you won't find a single other person who thinks this.
It's almost like, again, that was entirely that was the entire polar opposite to the kind of mission of that government up until now, until, you know, polls showed them behind the Green Party.
Chad Polanski doing his thing, man. Love it.
Yup.
And I think most people across the country would not want children to be growing up in acute poverty. And I
don't know. Conservative voters don't seem to give a fuck either way, to be honest. They don't give a shit.
Literally, the whole public. The public is massively opposed to getting rid of the 2-child limit on universal credit. Right, massively opposed to it. And Sky News found that if you worded it to be even more like emotionally charged, people's support for keeping the cat went up.
Yeah.
Like, if you literally explain to them this will cause loads of children to be in poverty unnecessarily, support fucking increased. We have a nation of psychopaths, you know. We are the billions must die meme as a population.
Yeah, very normal. Thank you, Jacob, for 5 gifties on the YouTubes. I will suck your soul out through your whatever.
I think in order for them to be able to do well at school, get on, have good careers, we need to make sure that we're taking decisions across the piece. We've already been doing that, for example, with putting up the minimum wage for the lowest earners in the country. We've introduced free breakfast clubs, expanded funded childcare.
That a lot. And forgive me, we are short of time, but it sounds to me, I know you don't want to confirm it, but you are making the argument there about...
Okay, but you can't say, oh, we're short of time, and then you're going to interview Rafe Fiennes. I think, because, again, there's always a bit of this show that is fucking worthless. And no offence, Rafe. Actually, no, fuck it. Offence, Rafe. I'm not listening to you. I don't care.
I mean, to be fair, last time we did listen to him, and he was very funny. Not for any of the reasons that he would want to be, but it was very amusing.
Oh, Joseph. Oh, it's a different Fiennes. Apologies. But either way, I'm okay. No offence to Joseph Fiennes, then, because I don't know about you. You could be all right. But I'm also still not fucking listening to you. And it's not a Fiennes family beef or anything. I just don't want to listen to rich wankers prattle on about an acting job they got. I don't care.
Why it would be a good Labour thing to do to take away the 2-child benefit cap. I must just briefly ask you about the negotiations in Geneva today, a couple of days after President Trump put forward this peace plan for Ukraine, which would...
Also, are they going to mention at all the COP thing completely falling on its arse?
I mean, literally on fire.
Yeah. Literally, like, they went to the Amazon to burn it down. Basically. Brilliant.
Incredible scenes.
I can't believe Keith, he went there and it didn't work.
I mean, the whole thing has basically been lobbied by like, the petro-states, so that the veto needs, like, very few countries to go through, meaning that all climate action gets stymied by a couple of self-interested Gulf countries.
Yeah.
Involve them making some pretty significant concessions. Should Ukraine consider concessions? What's the UK's message in Geneva today?
So the Prime Minister spoke to President Zelensky yesterday, also spoke to President Trump and other global leaders in the margins of the G20 summit in Johannesburg. We do support President Trump in his push for peace, and we think that there are some elements of his plan that are essential for a lasting peace, but it does require some additional work. There's a meeting in Geneva today which is going to be critical of national security advisors, the Americans, the Ukrainians. Our guiding principle is that the only people that can determine the future of Ukraine is the Ukrainians themselves, and we will stand.
God, Laura Kuenssberg gets paid $400,000 a year to do this show.
Award-winning journalist, Kev.
She does one show a week for about 40 weeks of the year.
and wins awards, and she wins plenty of awards for her excellent high quality journalism.
Lots of
too.
awards.
I think you'll find
the award-winning journalism TM. Yes.
And alongside them to try and bring this appalling conflict to an end.
Okay, Heidi Alexander, thank you very much indeed for coming in to see us today. A busy day, so thank you very much. And of course, here at the BBC, we'll be reporting on the progress of those talks in Geneva. As ever, we want to know what you think. Thank you for sharing some of your ideas about what you'd like to see in the budget or what you wouldn't like to see. Do keep getting in touch. You can email us, kunsberg@bbc.co.uk, or on social media. If you're that way inclined, you can use BBC Laura Kay as the hashtag. And the WhatsApp number's there, 08000 282
Could you maybe wear clumpier shoes? Like, I mean, I don't know, stilettos or something? I don't know.
161. Now then, grumpiness with the economy is one of, not the only, but one of the big reasons why Labour has been struggling.
Oh, actually, was that Heidi Alexander walking away rather than her? Perhaps, I don't know.
Well, that's a real change, a real turn up for the books in it.
To keep up. And the Green Party has been gobbling up support under its new leader in England and Wales.
How fucking clumpy are those shoes she's wearing or whatever? Or, look, I can still hear her walking. How far away is she?
Zack Polanski, who's with us this morning. Welcome to you. Good to have you with us in the studio.
Thanks for having me.
We just heard Heidi Alexander there strongly hinting that the limit on benefits for bigger families, known as the two-child benefit cap, is going to go. If that is swept away, is that a victory for the left, maybe including you?
Absolutely. It's something we've been calling for a long time. 1 in 3 children are living in poverty, and this would lift 300,000 children out of poverty almost immediately. It's absolutely outrageous it's taken the Labour government so long to do it, but if they do it, that'll be a victory and they'll celebrate it. More widely though, we know that this Chancellor will keep talking about tough choices, but they always seem to be tough choices for people out of work or working people who are working really hard while their wages aren't going up, but food prices are going up, for disabled people. When are we going to see tough choices for multimillionaires and billionaires? It's time to tax them.
True.
But I mean, the long and short of it is that, again, I really want to make it abundantly clear for all of the people who in the run-up to the election said you can't just not vote Labour because then the other team will get in that are bad. Because by selling your vote to Labour for nothing, you mean that you are totally irrelevant when it comes to the calculus they do when they set policy, right? The reason we're in this position, the reason why Laura Kuenssberg and Zack is describing it as a victory for the left, is that they are doing this in response to polling that shows that Labour are losing their base. They're losing people who support a stronger welfare state to the Green Party. If we had already just gone to the polls and said, well, I guess we're going to have to vote Labour because otherwise Reform will get in, Labour would just be doing more migration crackdowns because why would they need to pander to us? This is the whole point about having an electoral force that challenges. Of course we want to win. We want to win elections. We want to win seats for the Green Party. But if we don't, at the very least, we have forced Labour into a position where they, rather than being scared of losing to Reform, they're scared of losing to us, meaning they have to offer us good policy. If we do policy that gets co-opted by the Labour Party and it gets put into practice because otherwise we would start winning elections against them, then we have got the policy we wanted and we've won either way, you know? That's the whole point of this. And so everyone who wanted to tactically vote in the run-up to the election and who would still do it now, this is proof that you're an idiot.
Very much so.
Then look at what's actually happened in terms of taxes. You want to increase taxes on wealth, but this is what's happened to income tax actually over the last few decades. So in the last 20 years...
Well, hang on a minute. What? Pause. Because I know you want to tax wealth, but here's a completely unrelated tax.
Yeah. Yeah, but have you considered funeral duty? What? No, that's a different thing.
Well, again, because like
I know you're against genocide, but what's your position on omelettes?
Like, because Paul Johnson from the IFS was tweeting out today going, well, people talk about wanting to tax the rich, but if you look here, the higher rate of income tax has captured more and more of the electorate, and now more richer people have been paying more tax than the Conservatives. I'm like, high income earners are not the rich. I mean, some of them may well be rich, some of them may get high incomes, also having high wealth, right? But the determining factor is not how much income tax they pay. It is the number of assets that they own, the total value of the assets that they own. Someone earning 100k a year might only just have a house that they own and maybe like a pretty decent pension. And whilst they certainly are well off, they should be paying the kind of rates of income tax that we're seeing there. Those are not the people who we are talking about when we say a wealth tax, right? We want to tax the super rich, the high asset owning class, people who make more money from passive income than anyone else does from actually
Parasites.
working. Exactly, than anyone else does working a real job. Rishi Sunak doesn't actually pay that much income tax on his 90k a year as an MP, but he pays very small as a percentage of his income as tax on the massive capital gains and dividends income that he receives from a giant blind trust, right? His effective tax rate, despite being the richest prime minister in British history, is lower as an effective tax rate than a fucking nurse, because it's done from wealth, not from income. And that's why this distinction is so important and why it's so frustrating that anytime we decide to talk about wealth, they try and change it to be about income tax.
The lines are a bit wobbly, but what it shows us is actually people at the top 10%.
Who would have been the poorest? Maybe Wilson?
Probably,
Their share of income tax paid has gone up about
Because he's one of the very few actually working class people to ever get to that position.
True.
10%, and it's actually gone down a little bit for middle and bottom earners. So just before we get into this debate, the fact is the Conservatives and then the Labour government have, broadly speaking, taxed the rich more and taxed other
No, they
earners
haven't.
less.
No, they haven't. This is not the rich. This is the high income earners. I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with this idea that essentially what governments have done is, rather than look at expanding the size of the state because we believe that everyone should contribute, they have dangled the carrot of low taxes for low earners as a way of trying to strip back state capacity and building a consensus for low taxation, right? I'm willing to hear those arguments, and maybe you could put a couple of points in income tax to make sure that at the very least everyone feels like they should contribute as a social contract there, and the state can spend more on what it wants to do. You know, that's fine.
It's very Lib Dem. Oh, we're going to put a penny on the income tax so we can spend it on the NHS. Like, it's
Well, yeah, of course, I understand that. Right? I could buy those arguments. The problem is, of course, is that A, there's the cost of living crisis. How are you going to get buy-in for that? And B, like, again, it still misses out the huge amounts of wealth and the very small amount of tax that they pay if you're a giant property magnate. If you're the Duke of fucking Westminster owning Mayfair. Like, these are the real disparities as in wealth, not in income. And I would say that maybe you could justify a small income tax raise if at the same time you really did go after those who own all of the wealth. And on top of this, what about the fact that who owns what is what's more important here? Insofar as, we wouldn't need to be talking about wealth taxes if we hadn't sold off so much of the really important assets, such as property and infrastructure, to wealthy individuals rather than keeping it held in common. We wouldn't be talking about the wealth tax or the huge gap in wealth and asset ownership in this country if our assets were held partially by workers, partially by the state, or whatever. That's a consequence of privatisation.
Inequality. For decades now, poor people have got poorer and rich people have got richer. It's important when I talk about millionaires and billionaires. If you go back, say, 1 million minutes, you get back to the beginning of 2023. Most people can probably remember what they were doing at the beginning of 2023. If you go back 1 billion minutes, you get to the Roman Empire. That's the difference in inequality in this country. So I'm talking about multimillionaires and billionaires paying their fair share. Now, it's important to say, people will say, does that raise...
I'm just confused now. Is that true? What?
Yeah, absolutely true.
That has fried my head.
Yeah, literally, because I mean, obviously, it's about just under 2 years to go back 1 million minutes, right? So just that 2 years times 1,000, so 2,000 years, that's the Holy Roman Empire.
No, far beyond the Holy Roman Empire. The Roman Empire.
Oh, yeah.
Is enough? Is it just about raising revenue? That's not actually the point. Of course, the money is important.
Well, it is.
Technically, Jesus was still around.
True.
Only for about another 8 years. Spoilers.
The real point is about tackling inequality.
So the point then for you of putting up tax on the very wealthy is to try to stop them being as wealthy. It's not actually to raise money for schools and hospitals and public services.
We can raise that money anyway. What it's about is the fact that if you have that much money, if you're a billionaire, you can't spend it quickly, even if you try. So you hoard it in assets. And it's the assets that are the problem here, because that's exacerbating the inequality that already exists. What we need to do is get that money and those assets flowing around the economy.
But how
I don't like the fact that he's got enough gumption about him to not just let her interrupt him, because you can tell she's trying, and he's just going to say his piece. That's what you've got to bear in mind.
I'm not driving any metro. I'm not driving any metro. I'm not driving any metro.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Stop talking about Benjamin Netanyahu, Laura. You're never going to meet him.
And again, it's just a really important point that he's making here, which is that the reason why we have a sclerotic economy is because we have incentivized rentierism rather than productivity.
Yeah.
We've incentivized people to just own assets and extract rents from them rather than do anything productive.
Well, that's the thing, exactly, yeah. We've incentivized parasitism over productivity. And that is a fucking recipe for absolute disaster.
Yep.
Like, we need people to create things. And I don't mean like the entrepreneurs are creating all the... I mean, like, people need to do work. We need to actually make things and do things, provide services, whatever. Whereas a landlord sitting on their arse doing nothing, taking up, a third, a half of someone else's pay, and then just offshoring it, he's just destroying the financial base of this country. That's the real fiscal fandango.
Well, exactly. And again, one of the basics that he points out there is the idea of spending multipliers, i.e. if you put money into the hands of high-propensity consumers, it goes around the economy and gets spent in businesses that incentivizes investment in those businesses to make them more productive, right? That's basic Keynesianism 101. That's something that just isn't believed by 90% of our political class, because they've all entirely taken as received wisdom a totally opposed economic philosophy of like monetarism and free market dogma, which is doesn't matter where the economy, it doesn't matter where the money is spent or how, it's just the money being spent on something. And inflated asset prices are just as productive to these people as a business that produces stuff.
Which again is just a recipe for absolute fucking disaster, as we can literally say.
How do you raise that money anyway if it's not through taxation?
Well, there's a few ways. So Sharon was exactly right earlier when she's talking about borrowing to invest. That's one way. But also there's something called spending multipliers, which is where you invest in the economy, say the National Health Service. You get that money back because you have a well population. Now, of course, it's important that people are healthy just to be healthy. But actually, if you cut through austerity, that's a completely false economy. You have people missing work.
Yes, that's false economy is the thing that needs to be pushed much more about austerity. It's not just that it's evil and wrong, it's that it's actually counterproductive to the thing you're claiming to do.
It was economically illiterate. It was economic vandalism, what we did, It's basic stuff about mobilizing real resources in the economy. If you have sick people who can't work, that will obviously harm your productivity. And it doesn't matter how you spend the money. If you make them more productive, even if you printed the money to do it, the fact that that extra productivity would create more goods and services in the economy, that would mean that you wouldn't be creating any kind of inflationary environment, because both the demand and the supply would increase by doing so. All you should do would be growing the economy, something that Rachel Reeves is desperate to try and claim that she wants to do.
And people know this from their own experience of the world. If you cut corners, it costs you down the line. If you try and rush things and you try and do things on the cheap and you don't really do things properly, eventually it comes back. Was it a stitch in time saves 9 type deal, right?
Yeah.
If you cut back on the NHS, you have initial savings, but you actually end up losing far more down the line because you have a much sicker population. Even if we ignore the fact that it's bad to just have people be ill when they don't need to, when we have the resources and infrastructure to be able to treat them, and then we don't. Even if we ignore that and just look at the financial productivity of it, how many fucking millions of people do we have who are either sick sick to the point where they can't work whatsoever, or are having to work in suboptimal conditions because they're in physical fucking pain all the time, waiting for operations that just get cancelled and cancelled and cancelled? This is a fucking again, it's a disaster in the long term, all because they cut corners back in the day.
Well, exactly. Like 40% of people who are signed off as unfit for work, 40% of them are on NHS waiting lists.
It's mad. Absolutely mad.
This
didn't used to be a thing. Like, literally, the Labour Party, under Tony Blair, I'll give him his due on this one, was literally having to say, we're having to defend the fact that people couldn't, when they rang up their local GP, they couldn't have it later. So they were forcing people to have GP appointments too soon. Not that you literally have to ring up on Monday morning and desperately hope that you're one of the first lucky 50 that get a fucking appointment that week. Like, that's it. Like, it's the system has been purposefully disintegrated by cutting corners and underfunding, and the system is on the verge of fucking collapse. And if this Labour government has done one good thing, putting some money into it to at least stabilise it, not necessarily make it, fantastic and better, but stabilise the situation, is a positive, even if everything else they've done is shite.
And again, like you talked before about like the Stitch in Time Safe Line, like we obviously mentioned on the show already about the rack concrete in the schools. There was a programme to fix that shit in Gordon Brown's budget before the election in 2010, and it was one of the first things that got cut by the Tories under David Cameron. And instead of paying a small amount to redo all the concrete on a normal timescale, instead we're having to spend, an X amount of what we would have otherwise have spent if we'd done it before, fixing entire broken roofs.
Yeah.
I can't get an appointment with my local GP unless it's made within 48 hours. I can't make it 3 days or 4 days hence. I was told that's because they can meet their target that everybody gets it within 48 hours. Why?
Well, So imagine that. Oh, yeah, sorry that I'm forcing you to have a fucking GP's appointment, you cunt. You can always go with the Tory policy of, you never get one. Fucking hell. What a difference the world made. And again, Tony Blair is a war criminal and a piece of shit who's pushing AI, all the rest of it, but even he sort of knew how to run an NHS a bit. Even if the PFI things would be dodgy, but,
I mean, again, it's just basic stuff. I mean, that's the thing is, whereas lots of people in the Labour Party are evil, and, certainly the people in the Labour Party at the moment are morons. In the new Labour era, they may have had a bad ideology, but they weren't stupid, right?
No.
They weren't like literal idiots like the Conservative Party are, who don't know basics of how to run a country. They did at least realise that if you want to have people re-elect you, make sure they're not sick. Like, really basic shit. Really basic. At least they got that far.
If they're dead, they can't vote for you. If they're too ill to get out of bed, they can't vote for you. Yeah. Isn't Blair supposed to run Gaza now? Didn't he pull out of that? Wasn't he? He was going to be king of Gaza or whatever, but now he's
hilariously, Hamas refused.
Rejected, bitch.
Too evil for Hamas.
And that's a group that have lots and lots of copies of Mein Kampf in Arabic, except for Mein Kampf, which is in English for some reason. I wonder why that is.
Copy.
Pristine, untouched copies. Amazing.
More long.
Imagine being the person who works in the Israeli printing factory that produces those. Like, what do you tell your kids that you do for a living? Oh yeah, I produce fake copies of Mein Kampf to be used for propaganda. What?
Term health conditions, and you break the economy in the way that we've seen both Conservative governments do it and Labour government now
But you
too.
say there you can borrow. The government's already borrowing enormous amounts, and there is an already massive amount of national debt, and it's way more than the government spends every year, and it costs a fortune to pay the interest on that debt. So would you not?
Wow, maybe we could raise revenue then somehow.
But even then, depends on what you're spending on. Again, if your plan with the current set of fiscals is to go, well, we want to spend more on this thing that would increase productivity, increase both supply and demand, and therefore grow the economy, it doesn't really matter whether or not that's being done at the expense of debt that you're already repaying. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Put any limits on government borrowing?
Well, the first thing to say is debt to GDP.
Would you put any limits? No, I would just open up the checkbook and you can spend whatever you like. Of course he fucking would. What are you talking about?
Full Weimar, let's go.
Yeah, like, what the fuck does that mean? No, I wouldn't bother having a budget. I'd just say, write your own checks, lads. Go for it. No, of course there'd be fucking limits. What are you talking about? Like, when we say you print your own money, that's not like an infinite solution that you can just, like, make everything happen. It's not a limitless resource. It is tied to reality, but, like, it doesn't mean that you have to run like a fucking, family budget, because most families don't have a national bank. Lads.
GDP ratio is at 100%. In Japan, it's 270%, and they have much better living standards than we do.
But in terms of this country, it's at the highest level.
They've had high-speed rail since the 60s as well, which is really galling. Really, really, really galling. They had just lost a massive war, and at the same time that we still had our bombed-out fucking ruins in Britain, they were building high-speed rail that we still don't have. Hiroshima was still fucking radioactive.
Level it's been for a very, very long time. The financial markets are very sensitive to the decisions that the Chancellor makes.
Oh, well, they can always go and fuck themselves. They can always go and fucking Minecraft if they want to. I'm sorry, I didn't elect a member of a fucking financial market. I thought we elected a government. I thought that's how democracy worked.
And again, like the even if you take it as rote, the bond markets do have the final say over government spending, right? The reason why there's a real problem at the moment is because no one understands what the fuck the government is doing, because they don't understand what the fuck they're doing, and everything's being done on the fly because they got into government with stupid promises and no vision.
Yeah.
If you have a very clear vision about what your plan is, what you want to do, where you want to end up, and then you put that to the markets when you want to be able to borrow money via issuing gilts to those markets, right? And you say, this is what it's for, this is how we're going to spend it, this is how it's going to lead to a return on your investment. As long as that makes sense, they'll do it. People want access to gilts. Pension funds can't function without access to gilts, right? The idea that somehow the demand for these things would just dry up if you got a chancellor who thought, let's spend more money on the NHS, is nonsense. It's dog shit. It's absolute nonsense.
Well, as a former Catholic, trust me, I have plenty of access to guilt.
That's the case whether you'd like it or not. The UK's already got huge levels of debt, so are you suggesting that actually you'd be relaxed about the government borrowing much, much more?
Well, I think Andy Burnham was really interesting recently when he said we need to stop being in hock to the bond markets. And I think what...
And there was a market reaction.
Well, exactly. So what I think we need to do is get back to a place where...
Oh, no. Don't stand up to the bullies. They may bully you harder. Brilliant. Yeah, I mean, you're literally arguing in favour of financial fandango cuckoldery. Literally just we can't stand up to them because they have all of the power and we're just a small little bee. No, we're the 6th largest economy in the world. Maybe we should act like we have some fucking balls about this. Maybe. Just a little bit. Smidge. Yeah?
where actually democratic politicians who are elected by the people are more worried about the cleaners, the teachers, the nurses, the people on the ground who are actually creating the economy with their hands, rather than the people who hold these assets, who are making money while they sleep without actually working. That's deeply problematic.
True.
Now, are the markets important? Of course, they play a role, but much more important is the trust of the public on the politicians that they democratically elect. And we've gone so far the other way.
But the public didn't trust the government very much when Liz Truss completely freaked out the financial markets by
doing the exact opposite of the thing that he's planning to do.
And even then, like, even on that basis, half of it was due to the fact that it happened on the weekend that the Bank of England started quantitative tightening. The second part of it was because there was no forewarning about what was happening, no plan, no vision about what the actual outcome of it would be. And again, like, also the pension funds were over leveraged on liability driven investments, essentially investments that are partially make a return on having low gilt yields. And when the gilt yields jumped because of all of this happening, because there was no plan, that led to pension funds almost going under. That was like kind of the real problem of the Liz Truss experience, right? And it was also because it was not borrowing to invest, it was borrowing for unfunded tax cuts for rich people who put it into more assets, right? Like, the idea that is comparable is nonsense. The whole point that we're saying is we will have a plan, we will have a vision, we will give a full kind of fleshed out idea of where this money is being spent and how it's going to be spent wisely. There's no way that this is in any way comparable.
True, but the another thing with Liz Truss is that she wrote that that budget in the blood of the Queen that she just killed. So
Based.
You know, that was, yeah, look, she had her moments.
Promising billions of unfunded tax cuts. Again, you might not like
well, this trust was an absolute disaster.
But the real world that we're in right now, and you might
adults in the room. But they're not ideological. It's just that the bond markets get to decide what financial policy should be. Brilliant. Just pretend. Why pretend that you support democracy then? Why not just let the fucking markets decide everything?
want a completely different shape of economy. I think you do.
Yes, absolutely.
But the real world that we live in is that this country owes trillions of pounds to the financial markets, and therefore decisions that politicians take, don't they have to take that into account? You can't wish away the overdraft.
So I'm definitely not going to defend Liz Truss. I don't think anyone should. But actually, you said it really well. She was borrowing for unfunded tax cuts. What I'm talking about is borrowing for capital, infrastructure and investment that essentially creates spending multipliers that comes back into the economy. Second, though, in terms of the borrowing, a lot of that borrowing is from the
Again, don't let her interrupt. She wanted to interrupt there. No, just carry on. You've got a microphone too. Carry on talking. Honestly, it is. That shouldn't be Chad behaviour. The concept of continuing your point, but given how pathetic the likes of Keir Starmer are, this is like riz beyond belief.
Bank of England. That's money we owe to ourselves. It's not borrowing or debt in any real sense. Also, it's a lot of foreign countries who want to have that debt because actually that's a good investment for them because we have a relatively stable currency.
But before we get into, we could go down a really esoteric debate about economics.
It is important.
Whoa. What she's essentially saying is, Zack knows more about this than I do because I'm a stupid moron. Please stop saying things I don't understand.
Yeah.
She's whoa. We could get into a discussion which makes me look like an idiot and you very intelligent. But can we talk about the household budget, credit card, Liz Truss stuff again, please?
And not just that, but it's the, we're getting too close to talking about the real economics. That's the problem. Can we talk about, like, I don't know, where trans people go for a shit? Stay distracted, working class. Sorry, not just Muslims, all of the working class. So.
On that though, on the
well, I want to ask you.
A household economy is nothing like a national budget, and we really need to break that.
True.
Of course, it is not the same thing, but people look at the government in terms of what they borrow and what they spend and how they raise money through our taxation.
But we need to break that metaphor because it's a completely different way of looking at the economy, which is really important.
I just want to get a specific answer to that question, though. Do you believe there ought to be any limit on the amount that the government borrows? Would you say yes?
Obviously. What the fuck do you mean? Do you think he thinks that money is like an infinite resource that doesn't, like, if you just print a squillion pounds of new money, that won't impact anything? He's not a fucking moron. I know you want to portray him as such, but he obviously isn't. Like, do you think there should be any limit to how far Icarus should fly towards the sun? You're a twat. This is award-winning journalism. Fucking
award-winning journalism.
This is genuinely a brilliant case study in how pathetic the British media are.
No, but remember, Kevin, the BBC is biased to the left.
£400,000 of licence fee payers' money is paid to this stupid wanker to ask the most dumb question ever. Like, what?
Again, at least a dumb question that she's asking, specifically having previously said, not fucking 15 seconds ago, or we could get into an esoteric discussion about economics. Like, you literally want to go away from asking really important questions to dumb shit because you're a moron.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Like, she's paid 400 grand to dumb politics down for idiots, and now she's got a clever person on, and she's like, can you dumb it down for me, please? Because I don't understand what you do. Multipliers? What's that? Is that like a calculator? What?
Absolutely.
And where would you set it?
It depends on how many resources you have in the economy and also people who are able to use that resources. So you have to watch inflation. But
Jesus Christ. So he's having to explain it like it's fucking Tropico or something now. So it depends. If you have 20 of a resource and you have the 10 people in the thing, then the fairest system is to have 2 things per person, maybe, or the government can associate. Like he's having to explain it like a child, or like he's talking to a child, because essentially, intellectually speaking, he is.
But that's not about how much you borrow, that's about the physical resources in a space. Once that's run out, then you're in a problem. But we're in a problem anyway because we face a climate crisis and an ecological emergency. And so we have literal physical barriers to the amount that we should be producing.
Okay, we know that you are no fan of the defence.
Journeying Jordan, that's a great question. If the magic money tree doesn't exist, why do banks have branches?
True.
Oh, that's fucking good. So you get poetry on the Kev channel. That's all I'm saying.
Alliance, NATO, you talked about that last time you were here, and you argue for peace wherever possible instead. Should you...
She said that was so contemptuously, like, you argue in favour of peace, you massive puff? Like, what the fuck? Like, yes, as a politician, I prefer a person who's like, maybe we should try peace, actually, that would be good. Rather than, let's bomb everything.
Ukraine
also,
consider...
like, it is worth pointing out that at no point ever in history has a massive arms race not led and overspilled into conflict, right?
Yeah.
Can we just acknowledge this fact that all of these arms races ever have always spilled over into actual conflict?
Yeah.
It's never led to like a totally civil quietening down or winding down of militarism.
Yeah. Even the Cold War, where the 2 main protagonists didn't directly face off, well, it just exploded as proxy wars everywhere.
Yeah, literally.
It was only Antarctica that was spared because penguins are pussies.
Until they got tariffed.
Making concessions to bring an end to a terrible conflict.
Well, that's ultimately up to the Ukrainians and Zelensky. I think it's important our country stands in solidarity with the Ukrainians and also says that they should have a negotiated settlement and a sustained settlement. I think it's deeply problematic that Donald Trump seems to be bulldozing this whole settlement in the same way that he tried to in Gaza and Palestine. I think ultimately we need to make sure that we have people who are talking about peace and diplomacy at the table. And just on NATO, I've been very clear that I want an alternative alliance based on working with our European neighbours. I think Brexit was a disaster for this country, both economically but also for our security in terms of it being outsourced to Donald Trump.
And things have been going pretty well for you since you took over as leader, and you've suggested that you'll stand as an MP in London. One poll showed that you could actually take the Holborn and St Pancras seat, which just happens to be the Prime Minister.
Honestly, I don't think I have enough liquid in my body to orgasm as much as I will, if that happens. I think I might actually become dehydrated and die.
I just want him humiliated. Like, I hate Keir Starmer so much. I want him to wake up hating every minute of his life.
Yeah.
Like, hating he ever decided to listen to Morgan McSweeney and become Prime Minister. I will feast on his sadness, like Soul Reaver.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the sight of Keir Starmer and his little sad face as the announcement comes through from the Holborn and St Pancras fucking, I don't know, municipal centre or wherever the fuck it's held, will literally sustain me forever. You could lock me away, you could throw me onto a fucking remote island, Castaway style, and me and Wilson will live happily on the image of his sad little face. Beautiful.
Minister's constituency. Do you fancy taking him on?
I mean, it'd be very tempting to take Keir Starmer down. But actually, what I'm doing right now is really focusing on, right across England and Wales, growing the Green Party. We've just hit 175,000 members.
Flex! Flex, motherfucker. Flex. Oh, look at him. Look at his little face. Beautiful.
That's what you said.
I mean, I'm tempted to take on any Labour MP that's a disaster and ultimately replace them with a better MP who will stand for people and planet rather than vested interests.
Okay, Zack Polanski, leader of the...
Yeah, I mean...
He's so good at this.
He's
so good at this.
He's so good. And the thing is, I think we've said this before, it's not that he's the most like naturally charismatic dude in the world. It's just in an era where, I mean, there is literally negative riz in Parliament. Frankly, it's embarrassing to say. The only creature in there with any riz is Jenny the dog. Frankly, to see a man, I mean, just being competent as a leader is breathtaking to see. It's wonderful. Makes him seem almost revolutionary. It's ridiculous.
the fact that the Labour Party is so bereft of talent in the Commons that the biggest threat to Keir Starmer is a mayor of Manchester.
Well, no, surely the biggest threat is, little Wes. Oh, Wesley.
The Cabbage Patch doll possessed by Satan.
The lickspittle cunt. Yes.
True.
Rest in peace.
The Green Party in England
Thanks
and
so
Wales.
much.
Thanks very much indeed for coming in to talk to us today. Well, there is a lot to digest. It is a huge few days for all of our politicians as the Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, puts the finishing touches to her budget, no doubt locked in the Treasury today, looking through the numbers. That was a very, very interesting 20 minutes or so. Andy, what did you make, first of all, of... Let's talk about Heidi Alexander first of all, because then I'd be very interested to hear what you thought of Zack Polanski's economic worldview. What did you think of what Heidi had to say about your fiscal fandango?
I'm gonna fucking lose it. Let it go. It's the dumbest phrase ever. Honestly, human existence was a fucking mistake. It just was. 400 grand.
Well, some good news there in terms of rail fares, and that will cut some slack to lots of consumers.
That's a point. Have we done a school check on Andy? Our friend Andy over here.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Andy Haldane.
Says Kevin Fandango Logan. That is what the F stands for, yeah. It is Fandango.
Education held in Guiseley School in North Leeds, which is a mixed secondary school.
Oh,
And went to the University of Sheffield. He quite literally is a normal human being in that regard.
Oh, wow, okay. See? This is good. This is social mobility. It shows you that working class people can also be cunts!
At one point, Mel Stride is the Tory on the panel. Portsmouth Grammar School, private day school, and then, of course, did PPE at Oxford.
Literally a pointless creature. Literally, if he didn't exist, the world would not be any different.
On their travel bills, that's a good thing. I didn't hear much of a response on how best we avoid the pantomime of this year. Bear in mind, this is not the first pantomime we've had.
Also, I think you mean Fandango, not pantomime. Stop fucking mixing up your weird words. If he says if he says shenanigans, I actually will explode.
There was one last year, indeed, under previous governments as well. This budgetary process has been degraded over many years and needs time.
I was about to say, he doesn't sound very Leeds. He's not. He doesn't sound very Yorkshire to me.
Jeremy, what did you make of what Heidi had to say?
Well, looking at the substance of it, I am very worried about the fact that we're going to be spending £3 to £4 billion on the abolition of the two-child cap. I know Sharon will disagree with me on this, but you know, the Institute for Fiscal Studies did a very...
You are scum. That's all I have to say. There's no analysis there, just you're scum.
Detailed piece of work in which they said that this cap has made no difference at all to the life chances of the poorest children. And you can measure child poverty mechanistically and make an argument that this will reduce it. But if you look at the root causes,
So it will actually reduce child poverty. That's what you've just admitted there, is that this change will reduce, in actual real terms, the amount of poverty amongst the child population of the UK.
Well, because the reality is the Conservatives are fucking monsters, right? Like, I spent, like, the last 5 years doing this channel, doing content, just covering politics, right? And I try really hard to look at things from another person's perspective and try and understand how they think the way that they do so I can argue against it in the country, right? And I've come to the conclusions that Conservatives are either evil or stupid. That's all I've gleaned from 5 years of constantly listening to Conservatives. They're just evil or stupid, all of them.
But... good news, excellent news on that front. David Cameron's got cancer. Hey!
Oh my fucking god! I never usually want to celebrate cancer, but oh my god, fucking hell! If anyone deserves it, the man with like a body count of 300,000 clearly does.
Can we have some massive W's in chat for melanoma? Let's fucking go. You love to see it, chat. You love to see it.
Cancer as well.
It is bumhole cancer. That is true.
Oh, he got bum cancer.
Shouldn't have fucked around with a pig. That's the leading cause of prostate cancer. No, that's not funny.
Cause of poverty for many children is parents who are not in work, and this is going to lead to more parents not in work.
But some economists take a very different view, and a lot of people say actually the one biggest thing you could do to get kids out of poverty, and most families who claim benefits are in households where people are at work, and the problem is that they're not earning enough to be able to put food on the table and look after their kids.
I think the evidence is very clear. The number of children in absolute poverty, despite austerity, widely criticised, actually went down under the last government, and the reason is
that isn't true.
They changed the definition.
Yeah, exactly. In the same way that the IMF went, capitalism is brilliant. Billions of people have been lifted out of poverty because they went, actually, people can afford to live anywhere on Earth for $1 a day. They just reduced the amount of money, and all of a sudden, 1 billion people were lifted out of poverty. Yeah, when you change the definitions of words, things don't mean anything anymore. Brilliant.
Is because the number of workless households, kids growing up in a family where no one's working, went down by 1 million in the first decade of that government. So, you know, it's going to put up the bill for taxpayers. I think it'll get more children actually ultimately in poverty as a result. And I thought that was a...
Yes, I'm sure that's exactly what you think will happen. Yeah, I mean, he's just wrong. I don't know how else to describe it. Really, he's just completely fucking wrong.
And a monster.
And a monster, yeah.
A sign, I'm afraid, that the government is weak and not able to persuade its own backbenchers of the things that both Rachel Reeves and Keir Starmer, in their heart, know is the right thing to do, but they're not able to do
Sharon,
it.
there was an
Oh no, the adults in the room. No.
Literally, if you look into your heart, I think you'll find that the children should be fed into the wood chipper. Honestly, if you just... I know you've got this fanciful idea that the wood chipper is bad, but if you really, really dig down, you realise that the children crave the wood chipper.
Well,
they yearn for the sweet embrace of the blades of the wood chipper.
Well, all I'll say is people who oppose the wood chipper are just doing student politics.
It's true.
Honestly, just activists, you know.
Elegantly raised eyebrow right there.
I don't think it's a surprise of the century that I'm disagreeing wholeheartedly with Jeremy there. But look, I think actually when Heidi was talking and she said the phrase necessary and fair decisions. Now, to me, what that really means is that we are going to be looking at a number of people still paying. And I do not understand, I cannot understand that when we're saying we've got a black hole of £30 billion, that's the latest figure, you've had everyday people paying for the 2008 financial crash in austerity years, paid for COVID with their lives, some of them, workers out there paying again. Why can't we just simply say, we tax the richest 1%, 1% more, that gives you £25 billion in a one-off payment, that almost takes that black hole out. And I cannot understand why that can't happen. And just one thing, on the borrow to invest, I'm working with workers and industry every single day. If we don't start getting some backing to UK PLC, we are losing jobs hand over fist because we're not creating the industries to replace the industries that are going. And unless we do that, we're going to be in a worse position because you won't have the taxation that you need in terms of doing the things they're talking about. I cannot understand why this computer says no constant response comes from government ministers. This is a Labour government. Do what Labour governments do.
Andy, is it?
So important. Again, this is what was being talked about by Zack. This idea of engaging in industrial policy, borrowing to invest, putting it into the creation of jobs, the increase in productive investment that creates the bigger supply of commodities to ensure that you can both increase demand and increase supply to grow the economy overall. That's the entire point that we're talking about. The just transition, right? That the industries of the future are the jobs that we can be creating today through direction from the state. It is only neoliberal groupthink that the state shouldn't get involved in setting that trajectory that has kept us from doing this when interest rates were zero under the Tories, right? It's so important that we do this and we can have good state-owned companies that provide these jobs that we can use to grow the economy and make people not only more wealthy themselves, but also give them and their communities the jobs that were lost due to lack of investment during the Thatcher years.
True, and also the joke about computer says no is very good, because that's literally the way in which these neoliberal ghouls operate. They have a fixed ideology that is completely unresponsive to reality. They don't care about the real situation. That's why they reacted so poorly under COVID, because COVID can't be factored into their model. So they just go, well, we'll do eat out to help out. That can't be a problem. And except, of course, it killed loads of people.
Yep.
You know?
Just then.
And actually, as the woman in the one of the VTs said, don't tell us it has to be the same as usual. Okay? It's not going to be business as usual. It can't be.
Thing that the government should consider, as Sharon would have it, just tax the 1% much more than they already do and raise 20 billion quid. Why not just do that?
Well, I think there's the scope for doing something further on that front, particularly around housing. But of course, most of that wealth is really quite mobile. Already the top 1% of earners pay a third of all the tax revenues. And much of that wealth is mobile.
How much of the overall wealth do they possess?
Yep. And again, if you're taxing the wealth, like the properties, those kind of assets, they're not moving from the UK. I don't think you can move Chelsea.
No, you can't offshore a mansion.
No, exactly.
You can't move Mayfair to the Cayman Islands. Doesn't work.
And much of the rest of the world is rolling out the red carpet.
And trust me, we know what can and can't be moved abroad, because the the museums of London are replete with things you can move. Which is why the pyramids are exactly where they are.
Back those people right now. So I'd be cautious about taxing all wealth. The housing bit is worth thinking about doing.
So where there's been lots of speculation is that Rachel Reeves is looking at some form of sort of mansion tax. But just on that mobility...
The Polanski effect. I'm calling it now. It's the Polanski effect. There's no fucking way in this world that fucking Rachel Reeves would be even thinking or putting feelers out there about a mansion tax without the push from the left. This is the Polanski effect in action.
You often see stories in different... Let me just put this point to Andy. There is a lot of reporting and suggestion, and particularly from people on the right, that people who have wealth...
He's literally the "where the fuck is your chin" meme. Look, it's gone. His lips and his neck meet. It doesn't make sense.
This country are actually upping sticks already. As one of the country's foremost economists, you don't have your own economy, is that true? Is there concrete evidence of that? Or is it just anecdote?
I mean, the truth is we don't have the data to know for sure. The anecdote is certainly there.
So let's go with the anecdote, yeah? Fantastic.
There is some evidence of that. The precise scale remains an open question, I would say. But what I would say, in addition, I agree with Sharon and with Zack that more needs to be done.
We have the same thing happening here with Mamdani. Yeah, I'm sure you do, yeah. By the way, my Mamdani flag arrived, and it's fucking enormous. Do you want to see it?
Go for it.
Okay, I mean, I'll have to show it on my camera, so wait 10 seconds, I guess. Hang on. Oh. When I say it's massive, I mean it's literally, it's about fucking 8 feet wide. I'm a tall dude, and look how fucking big it is. It's wide, it's so wide I can't reach the sides of it.
I'll just tune into your stream.
It's going to take up the entire wall behind me. Also, I'm a fat cunt. Obviously, I just saw myself in the fucking phone.
It's huge, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fuck me.
Anyway, that's a big ass.
You can use it as a sheet in the summer.
Well, yeah, I was thinking, cut a hole in the top. You've got an entire body poncho.
To support government investment, the wellspring of growth. But I also agree with Jeremy in saying that financial markets do need to see some sign that this government is capable of getting its arms around public spending. It really does. This is a vulnerable moment. There's a risk of a Wile E. Coyote moment for this government. That the ground disappears from beneath their feet in financial markets, and that is...
No, but that's okay, because you've got like 5 to 10 seconds where you can write a sign saying whoops or something like that, and then you fall. Because that's how it works with Wile E. Coyote. I've seen the documentaries.
To be avoided at all cost. Because the cost we felt.
But one thing I'd say, I think it's important, is that, you know, why is it a better choice to pit pensioners against the disabled? Why is that a better choice than taxing some of the richest in our society? We've moved from 15 billionaires to 156 billionaires since the 1990s.
This is why what Zack Polanski was saying is economically totally illiterate, because the job of a chancellor is not just to reduce the gap between rich and poor, and I think everyone here supports a progressive tax system.
Do you? Are you sure about that?
But it's also to raise money for public services like the NHS. Now, in today's news, we hear that Lakshmi Mittal, who's one of those billionaires, is leaving the country. And I heard Zack Polanski say earlier this week, if millionaires don't want to pay their tax here...
Gulag! That's all that matters, right? If you want to leave, gulag them. And by that I mean have an exit tax.
Finally,
Because
those capitalist
unfortunately,
pigs will
gulags
pay
are
for
a
their
no-brainer
crimes, eh?
in the
Hey,
political
comrades!
environment.
Hey!
But in lieu of gulags, you can use an exit tax.
Yes.
Yeah, good riddance. Well, that is less money to Rachel Reeves to pay for doctors, nurses, schools. That is a bad thing. And one of the things the Chancellor has to do is not just redistribute tax revenues, but actually make sure we have enough money to pay for our vital public services. And if we...
Go fuck yourself. Everyone, go and follow some random geek who's in chat, who's fucking cool.
Don't do that, we're going to end up with cuts.
But you can't base that on just what one person...
Did he say cunts?
Jeremy Cuts.
Jeremy Cuts, yeah.
saying they're going to leave the country. Other countries have wealth tax. Other countries have wealth tax. Switzerland has one, quite frankly, and they've got a lot of wealthy people the last time I looked. The problem is that when...
Also some dodgy bank vaults with things in them that
True.
maybe they should give back to people, you know?
Like the better example is Norway, really, because they have an even more progressive taxation system as well as a wealth tax. So.
And were victims during that period, so have a clean bill of health in that regard. I'm talking about Nazis again, yes.
Never willing to look at a different way. People out there are hurting. They are on their knees. And if Labour don't have this budget that is there for working people and for those with less, if this budget is a
You know who's also on their knees? Donald Trump in front of Bill Clinton. Sorry. So, is that the fourth or fifth blowjob joke I've done tonight? I don't know. I'm on a real roll. Yeah.
Not enough.
Let's make some difficult decisions.
Like rookie numbers.
People will move away from Labour in droves.
And they've already been moving away from Labour.
For them to be Labour.
And if you
be a Labour government.
And you are a major
True.
figure in the Labour movement.
Hello, my left eye. Welcome in, everybody, on the YouTubes. I'll just
go and follow or else.
Well, literally,
I will
quite literally.
find you.
Yeah, I will find you and I will smother you in my fucking sailboat-sized fucking flag. Okay. I would be a flag shagger, but I think it's a two-man job. This one, it's fucking massive.
And you know, the Unite and Labour don't always have the best relationship, but you are in the same wider family. Would you think that Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves can stay in place if this government goes the wrong way, if the budget goes the wrong way? Forgive me.
No. I mean, the reality here is that they've got a chance in this budget to rectify what they haven't done in the last 18 months. I mean, we have the debacle of winter fuel, then we have the attacks on disabled people. The reality here is that Labour are supposed to go in, be Labour. We've already had people who have paid, some with their lives, but have paid with austerity over 14 years, with COVID. Where is the Labour government coming in to say, by the way, what's gone on?
Yeah, well, exactly. Lakshmi Mittal is not a working person, Mike, because Lakshmi Mittal is not Muslim and therefore not working class.
I mean, it's important to understand that this is why it's so great to have trade unionists on the show. Like, she was asked the question, do you think Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves can stay in place? And rather than, well, I think that would make their position slightly less tenable, she goes, no, fuck off, go away, Keith and Rachel. We don't need you and or want you, you know?
Indeed. Hello there, Mix. Go on.
Go for it.
No, go on.
And also, I'm surprised Laura Kuenssberg's not asked about disaffiliation.
Well, yeah, I suppose. Thank you, Mix. Actually, that's to expect her to do journalism. That's not what we're here for. If she did journalism, this show wouldn't be fun, frankly. Hello there, Mix Vivian Wolf. I can't possibly endorse your call for violence against the former Chancellor of the Exchequer, Jeremy Hunt. Sorry, Jeremy Cunt. My bad.
On before We're going to now change that. We're not just going to tinker around the edges. We are here for you. If people cannot hear that, then I think they will leave Labour.
But Andy, as the non-politician here, Sharon, I know you're not formally a politician, but union leaders are politicians of a certain sort. When you hear Zack Polanski say, basically, we can borrow almost as much as we want in a different way, the markets have got too much power, we shouldn't be in hock to them, as Andy Burnham suggests, is that, because it might sound appealing to lots of...
Hang on a minute. You specifically asked him, is there a limit to how much you would borrow? And he said yes. And you're now saying to Andy Haldane, well, he said he'll borrow as much as he wants. What the fuck, he said the opposite of that.
Yeah. What's the point in asking the question if you're just going to lie about it anyway? Like...
of people. Their polling suggests it's really appealing to lots of people. How does it sound to your ears?
It's La La Land economics. Let's be
La La...
No, I was... La La Land. It's not a Fandango anymore. Fuck off, you chinless cunt. Sorry, mixed with... clarification, yes, you weren't technically calling for violence. You were marvelling at the willpower of people not inflicting violence upon him. Which is slightly different and legal, so that's fine.
La Land.
You know, I'm a man at the Bank of England. I presided over almost £1 trillion of money.
Yes, you are getting the wall. 4 walls and a roof come the revolution, because everyone will have housing.
Yes, based.
Money printing. If that was the route to success and growth, would have long since solved this problem. This is not the time for funny money solutions. We need to invest.
Hang on a minute.
And that is the only route, I think.
Pause. When you were governor of the Bank of England, we were doing huge amounts of quantitative easing. We were quite literally injecting monetary finance into the economy because the economy wasn't growing at the time, right, in the post-financial crisis era. That's literally what was happening under your watch. Except instead of it being going into productive forces, productive businesses, worker cooperatives, into the hands of people who can both spend and consume at a time of low demand, you used it to inflate house prices and to inflate the value of financial instruments. What the fuck? Andy, you are quite literally somebody who did these funny money solutions and did them shittily in a way that was of benefit to nobody. Zack Polanski is the one who's saying we should do what Andy Haldane did when he was the governor of the Bank of England, except for working people and not for bondholders.
First up after the news, we're going to be talking to Jeremy Hunt, the Culture Secretary, about... Well, first up after the news...
And the Health Secretary, Jeremy Hunt, is also expected to apologise.
Circumstances changed. Mr. Hunt had to rapidly...
The Health Secretary, Jeremy Hunt,
The Health Secretary, Jeremy Hunt, says he's...
The Health Secretary, Jeremy Hunt, according to the...
The Health Secretary, Jeremy Hunt, has said the NHS...
Oh, they tried halfway through to pull out of it. It's too late. Commit to the bit.
Hunt, looking after the health service.
Jeremy Hunt, the Hunt.
Jeremy, I'm not going to pronounce his surname because I might mispronounce it deliberately.
Chad. Absolute Chad. Oh, you love to see it. Oh.
To getting back to growth.
But you do think, Andy, that we should change our fiscal rules and loosen them, don't you? So, of course, that's what we're talking about, that actually the fiscal rules can be loosened to borrow, to invest. Otherwise, we're going to see a situation where oil and gas is gone, we're importing fuel, and we have no industries to replace them, no jobs to replace them. So that's what you do have to borrow to invest.
Final word, Jeremy. Very final word. The average family is paying £4,000 a year in tax just to pay our debt interest.
And a lot of them are doing that because your party ran up enormous debts and ran record taxes.
And fair play, a piece of journalism has erupted.
Wow.
She's criticised a Conservative. Wow.
Well, that's the left-wing bias on show.
Oh, the anti-conservatism on this show. Unbelievable. Anyway, I do need to just quickly go to the toilet.
I mean, what I will say, whilst you're doing that...
Yes, go for it.
...is that it's just incredibly frustrating to say phrases like, well, current families are paying £4,000 in tax just to pay off debt interest payments. I'm like, well, they wouldn't be having that money to spend on those debt interest payments had you not borrowed the money in the first place to grow the economy. That's the whole point of these investments, is that they make a return for the state. Of course, they'd make a bigger return if we had more of it owned by the state rather than being put into inflating financial products elsewhere or or asset values elsewhere. But broadly, if you're borrowing money, as any government does for capital expenditure, that will lead to a broader return in the economy, right? Like if you invest in more capital investment for the inventory of the health service, people would have less money to spend to pay those taxes because the country would be sicker and would be smaller in terms of the size of the economy, right? Like borrowing to build a new hospital and then having a bunch of people who now pay more in tax because they're healthier means that if you'd not borrowed the money, they would be net less than what they're doing now. This idea that money that's being paid into interest payments is somehow money that's just being paid for nothing rather than to as a function of what the economy has had that debt spent upon. Again, you'd think, given that basically all of the Conservative Party is entirely comprised of business bellends, a bunch of people who, have entirely cut their teeth in the realm of business, you'd think they understand the idea of speculating to accumulate. The customers that are buying your products are paying just for the debt interest of the bank of the loan that you did. I'm like, well, they wouldn't have anything to spend the money on had we not borrowed in the first place. That's basic business sense. And yet all these people are like, well, the government should function more like a business, don't know how fucking businesses run, and think that governments are like household budgets, the thing that we now have made extra sure that people understand is nonsense. It really drives me around the bend when this is the narrative that's spun about how government debt interest payments work. It's really frustrating that it's so much bigger than just money in, money out. It's a whole holistic system that's being talked about here. Imagine putting money into society means there's more money into society. Well, exactly, No, I'm sorry, yeah, adults in the room. Very much adults in the room. Indeed,
Well,
so.
the adult is back in the room. Let me tell you.
It's the singular adult, the only adult ever to be in the room, which is Kevin Logan.
True, I'm the most adult. Tits. Anyway, yes. Are you be done? Yeah. What?
Yeah.
And I don't apologise for the support we gave families during the pandemic, but my point is, if you don't take measure to control debt, then ordinary families pay more in tax. It's as simple as that. That is actually, by the way, Labour being Labour, and we need less of it, not more of it.
Borrow to invest is always a good thing.
Well, the good news for everybody watching is that after...
No, the good news is that eventually Jeremy Cunt will enter the 7th circle of hell after he dies. So hopefully that's not too far off, but especially if David Cameron gets done. Honestly, I'll take back all of the bad things I've ever said about cancer if it takes him out.
For this programme, you're...
Cautious support for cancer.
Three are going to carry on the debate on newscast, but we'll talk about that later on because you've all got really interesting things to say and a jolly good vigorous debate, which is what we like in the studio. Now, Labour still points the finger for much of the economic mess at its Conservative predecessors. The Shadow Chancellor, Mel Stride, is in charge of trying to salvage the...
What the fuck's that?
Melvin Strupp. Who? What? Never heard of him.
Party's economic reputation when it comes to spending our money, but he and his leader are very...
Who's his little friend here? Who's this person?
Kevin Babe Knob?
Babe Knob.
You know what, Kevin? I'm going to say something really controversial, incredibly controversial.
Go on.
Right? Something serious controversial. I don't give a fuck what either these people have to say. I really don't.
Neither do I particularly. So we'll move on.
And I think it's just that and the other fines, right?
We got fines. And then cunt. So, yeah, I mean, we can leave it there if you want.
I mean, I'm actually really tired after... I got up at 3 a.m. today so I could watch the Grand Prix.
Where was it from today?
Las Vegas.
Oh, that's too far.
Chilling recollections.
Mm. But yes, oh yeah, you were there, weren't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'd known we were finishing, I wouldn't have gone for a piss. I would have held on for 5 minutes, but
Oh well, I got a good rant in whilst you weren't there.
But I will have to listen back to it if I remember, which I probably won't because I'm bad at remembering. Anyway, Yeah, everyone go and follow No Just MTJ.
Everyone go and follow KF Logan 1875. That's an order.
Yes.
That's an absolute order.
Okie doke. Who should we send people over to on the YouTubes?
I will send them to The Noisy Immigrant. As for Twitch, I have no fucking clue.
Okie doke. So I've got ice cream now.
Oh my god, I'm jealous as fuck.
You should be. You should be. Oh god, who's going? Why no leftists go? There's basically me and you.
Oh, Jason Society is live. We've just gone live.
Okay, yeah, we'll go there then.
As always, thank you very much for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow. You'll be back tomorrow with Christy, right?
Possibly, yes. I haven't organised it, but yes, we generally do. Who was it again? Jason Society. Sorry, I have to type the name in. There we go. Jason Society. Go and say hello. And I'll be back tomorrow. Are you back tomorrow? What?
Yes, yeah, I'll be back tomorrow, as always.
Yes, free Palestine and all that jazz. Ta-ra a bit.
Goodbye.